Counsel, I just gave a Reader's Digest version. I'll leave it to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Welcome.
Jack McGreen for the applicant, Denise Martino. She's the owner and the applicant. She's here along with her husband to answer any questions that you may have. Like you said, the applicant proposes, if you can go back to the previous, just for 1 second, they're going to knock down the house and the garage in the rear. Right now, it's a legal non-conforming lot of record, as you pointed out, because it's less than 10,000 square feet. And also, it's non-conforming because it's almost right on the property line here. So if you go to the next plan now, you can see, once they knock it down, this was the left-hand side. You can see, it's a little tough to see, but this is almost on the property line. So they're going to knock both sides down, and then it's going to remove both buildings and just replace it with this single building right here. We need the relief on the right-hand side because we need it for the second means of egress on the left-hand side, and that's about 4 feet. So that's why we're looking for 5.07 feet from the left side, but we're only seeking 1.07, I'm sorry, from the right side, but we're only seeking 1.07 feet from the left side, which we're making that more conforming than it was before. On that side, we could have got a modification, but we're looking for some other relief, so that's within the 15%, but the other side isn't. And the other reason, if you can go to the next plan, the elevation plans, next one, back, one more, right there. So the other reason for the dimensional relief and the lot coverage is because the applicant's trying to maintain this center corridor for the possible future use of a wheelchair. So that's like 4.5, almost 5 feet wide. Also, same thing with the bathrooms. The bathrooms are a little bit wider in order to accommodate the entrance and exit of a wheelchair. In the back corner here, there's a separate entrance back here because the applicant's cousin, right, is it your cousin? Plans on helping out with the applicant as she gets older, and she smokes. And so that's why they had the small deck out here, because my client does not like smoking, and she wants him to exit over here and smoke in the backyard, right? Is that a full statement? Okay. Also, the hardscape variance is kind of being driven by the driveway. You can go to the next plan. 4 bedrooms, so keep on going. Driveway, the overview. Nope. It'll be the very first one, I think. It was the site plan, I guess. We'll show the driveway. Yeah. So you see the 4 bedrooms, so we require 4 spaces right here. Trying to keep the house as far, a couple of reasons. We moved the house back in order to accommodate the 4 spaces, and also by moving them back, it allows the cars to, exit the property without having to pull one car out. That's why you pulled it back. This kind of gives, if you look over here, you'll see there's enough space to bring a car out around the corner without having to back all the cars out. If we pull this forward in order to reduce the relief request, then we'd be playing jockeying cars out in order to get to get a car out if we did in fact have 4 cars there. Applicants don't have 4 cars. They live in Johnson right now. This house has been in their family since the 40s. It's her grandmother, and then her mother, and now her, and maybe a couple of kids later. So they've been here a while. But it's been a summer house. They used to rent it to some college students, and I always try to get some background on her. Apparently, they used to rent it to URI students. No offense to anybody, but apparently a couple of those URI students drove motorcycles through the house, and so they decided not to rent to URI students.
Stephen?
So
I've done that.
Present company accepted, though. I'm sure there's nobody with a motorcycle in the audience. Other than that, the applicant's here to answer any questions. Another reason the rain garden is here, so that takes up some space. And is attributing to you don't count that towards the hardscape, but again, if we were to pull the house forward, we'd prohibit all cars from exiting out without having a jockey cars to get onto the road. That completes my presentation. If you don't have any questions for the applicant.
Staff, you have anything you want to add?
Not at this time.
Okay, Dr. O'Neill?
Yeah, Jack, take me back to the two sides, so where it's narrow here.
Go ahead.
Where are we? It was where?
You want one?
Let me use yours.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Does this one work? Yeah, Doc, this one works.
That's good. Distance here. So the distance here and the distance here is, tell me,
Excluding the steps, I think it's 8.5 feet on either side,
on each side?
on each side,
Okay.
yeah. But you have to count the steps. If we didn't have the
The
steps,
steps on that side?
correct.
Yeah, and this side is 8.5?
And those are being completely removed. So the steps are just over here. So from a, if we weren't looking for the other relief, we would be able to, we would be able to go for a 15% modification, and we would meet the setback. I think the setbacks were 8 point.
Yeah, and you know why I'm asking that, so that the fire,
That's 8.5
fire
in
can
the-
get on each side.
And the
Fire
other
folks,
proposed modification would be 8.14 is if you were to seek a modification.
and this house is just one story, right?
One story. Yeah.
So obviously you don't need the extra distance there.
No.
Okay. That's all for now.
Okay, Rupert?
Yeah, so, yeah, I had the same clarification about the side distances. And I guess I think it's good that it's one story. It looks in the drawings like there is some upstairs space for an attic, or has windows in one of the images.
Is that a crawl? I think that's like a crawl space for storage. It's not a.
Yeah, it seemed like 7 feet or something was the.
But I think there might be rafters in there. I don't think it's not stick framed. I think there's going to be, what do you call it? What's that called?
Modular or manufactured?
No, but the,
Attic trusses,
The truss.
slope ceilings.
The truss, okay.
yeah.
So there's no
No.
living space or
No.
bedroom or anything upstairs? Yeah, and then my other observation, I think, on the staff report that we have on page 3, it says 15% variance or 1,196 square feet of additional impervious hardscape. I think it's pervious hardscape, right? Because it's crushed. So
Yeah,
that's-
that's a mistake. It
typo
should-
there.
It should just read hardscape. Impervious doesn't need to be there.
Okay,
But I think they count both pervious and impervious.
for the hardscape,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I said, that was somewhat driven by the fact that we're pulling the house back away from the water and to allow that access, that exit onto Ocean Road without having to jockey cars on the site.
Yeah, I don't have any other questions, Chairman.
Okay. Tom? Tom, you got to talk into the mic.
Could you go to the overhead shot of the property itself, please? So Jack is, let's see if I can get this right. Is this the wetland area here that is mentioned in the write-up right here? That's to the southwest of the property that is being investigated?
What was that? I couldn't hear you.
The write-up mentions that there is a wetlands area that is to the southwest of the property that needs to be, there's either an ongoing or there's an investigation that's going on there. Is that correct? Am I got this right?
I saw that comment in the staff report.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've applied initially with CRMC. I think this is probably going to, I think the staff pointed out, it'd probably be administrative.
So that comment comes from, there was a PD that was submitted from Sierra, the applicant submitted with their application. And
I'm
that's
sorry, PD is?
a preliminary determination.
Thank you.
And that's where that comment come from. I just wanted to make the board aware if there were any questions about it. And then in terms of the regulatory aspect from the town in regards to the wetland, it wouldn't be administrative. It would just be a condition from CRMC's approval. The town doesn't have jurisdiction for freshwater wetlands.
And then, just a question for the staff. The language on page 2, top of the page, C, last phrase there, which has been asserted to be the edge of the coastal features by the applicant's engineer. That's asserted can be interpreted in a couple of different ways. Does it mean that the applicant's engineer has determined, or has determined that it's there? Okay, thank you. And then I guess my last comment is, Jack, that notwithstanding, this is a substantial amount of relief that's being asked for on the hardscape. It's half of 50, it's 50% over what, of what's allowed. So it's not insignificant. I understand the reason why you're asking it, and I appreciate the fact that that constructing the driveway or designing the driveway the way you've designed it makes it easier for the applicant to get in and out of their driveway. Having said that, it's still a substantial amount of relief on the hardscape side. And just one more thought for you, Jack. I mentioned this regularly when the coastal feature piece comes up. There is that provision on the coastal feature where the zoning board will have to make an affirmative finding specifically on the record that what you've proposed here is essentially, I forgot the exact word, but enhances, not mitigates, enhances the coastal feature as opposed to mitigate any damage to it. So I'm not sure what you have to offer us tonight, but clearly that's something that's going to have to come up with the zoning board when you meet with them.
Well, I mean, I'll respond. This is a knockdown right here, so knocking this whole thing down and putting up a new structure, a good-looking structure like they're proposing, that alone is an enhancement, in my opinion, to the coastal feature. Aesthetically, yes.
It's an aesthetic, okay.
Steve?
So, looking at this plan, it appears to me that the new structure, I mean, it looks like an old staircase that I don't see on the overhead, but it looks like you're actually pulling back a little bit from the coastal feature, maybe a couple inches compared to the other stair. Now, it's not on that plan. See,
Yeah.
just,
This right here.
no, I'm pointing at, not that staircase, right there, that little guy.
This right here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saved a riser. Saved a riser. So we're getting a little bit away from it, and I certainly appreciate you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see, right?
Yes, right here. So you're not actually, so
Thank you for pointing
I just wanted to point out, you're not getting any closer.
No.
Which is important. And over here, you've got 4 feet of walk-by for the firemen with a ladder, which I believe is what they asked for. I didn't double-check it before the meeting, I apologize. As far as the hardscape goes, I think it's good that you have a driveway that can accommodate 4 cars. We're always talking about parking here. And if you just go to the overhead satellite image one more time, right here, I actually drove down there. It looks like somebody's been parking here, or at least backing out into this area. So I think having a better parking area will actually alleviate some of the pressure on this spot right here. I can't guarantee that, but it looks like you're trying to help. And I appreciate that. And, I can certainly understand the desire for a ranch-style house. I'm glad you're keeping it low. You're helping these guys, and you're changing the roof line to this way instead of this way, so you're not totally blocking out the sun. So I think you did a nice job of thinking about your neighbors and taking into account all the things that we're always talking about here. So I don't have a particular problem with this one.
Okay. Staff? Jack, you want to add anything?
That'll do it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Redirect?
Yeah, there's nothing harsh. But was that there through Carroll and through 38 Hurricane?
It might have, but my grandmother didn't own it until 46.
Okay, all right. But it was there through Carroll, yeah, because that's really low. And good luck.
Rupert? Okay. Tom? Okay. Steve? All right. Anybody in the audience like to comment? No? Okay.
I do have one more, now that I think
Go
about
for
it,
it.
if that's okay. I heard the attention to detail on the design in terms of providing for the potential for a future wheelchair in the household, which makes sense. I'm not sure crushed stone driveway gets you what you need in terms of accessibility over the long haul, though. I'll make that observation, Jack, for both you and your clients. That particular piece doesn't seem to work very well for that purpose.
I was going to bring it up too, but I figured based on what you submitted, you'll deal with it down the road when it comes. You'll have to have some sort of pad.
Right.
If it's not the whole driveway, at least part of it. So, all right.
Yeah,
Rupert?
I was going to say, it can still be pervious, so you can have a hard surface.
Yeah, you can use pervious concrete or pervious asphalt. Doc, anything? All right, hearing nothing more, nothing from the public? Do I have a motion?
Okay, move the application before us. Martino, tax assessor plat S, lot 108 is completed in conformance with the town comprehensive plan.
Have a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Do I have a motion on the recommendation to zoning?
Move the application before us. Martino, tax assessor plat S, lot 108 positively for the comments and staff. You agree with the staff's comments? Jack?
I do.
Do. As spelled out on the correspondence, September 10th, 2025.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any opposed?
I just go back to the staff comments. Jack, do you agree with staff comment on page 4, provision 1?
Page 4, number,
Oh, right.
1.
Reducing the proposed hardscape.
Oh,
I thought we had already spoke about that, though.
Yeah, we have spoken about it, but
Oh, right,
the way it's,
obviously,
the way
yeah.
the
Yeah, so, yeah, 2 is fine. 3 is fine. 4, 5. 6 and 7. Yeah, except for number 1.
so without provision 1, I think is, unless we would
Is that a friendly amendment to the motion?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I'll
Do you
sec-
accept the friendly amendment?
I'll second that.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Unanimous.
Thank
Good
you,
luck.
Mr. Chairman.
All right.
Yes.
For those of you who are new, we make recommendations, okay? So we recommend things to the zoning board. They'll make the final legal decision. We make recommendations up to the town council on legal matters or projects. So we are just here to render our opinion. Part of the conversation you heard was letting Jack know, and he knows, that zoning may be asking for certain things. Also, CRMC is a coastal resource management. They oversee all fresh water. So we'll approve things on contingent, or we'll recommend things contingent to their approvals. That way it doesn't get held up here. Okay, thanks. All right. 2, Robbins, plat NS, lot 251, 163 Colonel John Gardner Road. Counselor, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well.
Good evening. My name is Dan Meyer. I'm an attorney representing the applicants, Callum, who goes by Cal, and Jacqueline Robbins.
Are they here?
They are not.
Okay.
My client, Cal, is active duty Coast Guard, which is why they're down in Elizabeth City, North Carolina.
Gotcha. Okay, so the property is at 163 Colonel John Gardner Road, plat NS, lot 251. The applicant has submitted a request to legalize the 3 unpermitted bedrooms located in the basement, lowest level of the existing dwelling, for a total of 6 bedrooms at the above-mentioned property. The project requires a special use permit from homes exceeding 4 bedrooms. Existing condition, Lot 251 is approximately 6,802 square feet in size and is located in R10 zoning district and is 32% deficient in the minimal lot size for the district. Lot 251 is currently improved with a 40 by 45 irregularly shaped dwelling, 14 by 20, covered carport, and an irregularly shaped deck with stairs. Existing building lot coverage is approximately 2,575 square feet, or 38%. Proposed, permit 3 unpermitted bedrooms, creating 6-bedroom dwelling. Proposed building lot coverage does not change. Lot 251 is approximately 6,882 square feet in area and is located in R10. The project complies with modified dimensional regulations of 6.4 for a substandard lot, as the setbacks and lot coverage percentage are existing non-conforming. Okay. I do want to add something to the record. I was informed today sorry. Okay. This is from the building inspector. To all, I understand that 163 Colonel John Gardner Road is on the docket tonight with the planning board to legalize 3 bedrooms constructed without permits. I just want to let you know that we received a complaint from the neighbor yesterday stating that 3 students are living upstairs and 3 students downstairs in the unpermitted section of the house for a total of 6. We sent rental inspector Tim Lee out there today, and he confirmed with talking to the parties on both floors that 6 students are living there. We are going to be issuing a notice of violation for the use and conversion of space without obtaining permits, and also exceeding the unrelated ordinance by having 6 unrelated persons living in a current 3-bedroom dwelling. I just wanted you to be aware of the current situation. Sincerely, Wayne. All right?
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Is it customary for the board to consider an application in a situation where the applicant is currently out of compliance?
Well, that was a question I have noted here to staff, which I haven't asked yet and will. My other question for council is this. In examining this, and I've examined this every way I could, the request is to legalize 3 bedrooms. But the reality of the situation is, and if notification today is any indication, from the plans that I've received, this is basically a 2-family house. There is, on the plans, the existing plans, there is a kitchen downstairs and a kitchen upstairs. And it strikes me that it is operating as a 2-family house. So my question is, why are we asking to legalize 3 bedrooms when we really need to be looking at legalizing a 2-family house? So that, I'm going to shift both of those to staff at this point, and legal counsel, I'd like to hear from you also on this.
I think in light of the fact that there is, maybe not physically, but a notice of violation that has been served upon council, saying that this application is not in compliance with what it is requesting, that it is not what it purports to be. That alone would be enough for the board to say, time out, send it back, find out what the litigation or response to the notice of violation from the building official is, and then go from there. So my suggestion to you, I don't know if council agrees or disagrees, would be to continue this matter to the next calendar and then ask the building official, Wayne, the zoning official, to act upon it.
Okay. I'm going to go to council after I go to the board. Doc, not specifically on the proposal in front of us, but the questions at hand. If we were to offer council to continue this, would you be okay with that?
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
in speaking with the zoning official to prepare this signing in this application stemmed from a violation in and of itself, and they're already scheduled for a court date, which has been continued contingent upon this process.
Okay.
Maybe you want to repeat that for the audience here.
Yeah. You're well aware. So is this the same thing that's going to court, or is this an additional one to?
So the existing notice of violation that was on schedule to go to court, correct, it was relayed to our client that if we went through this process to go through zoning and planning to get it permitted, and I'll speak to the 6 versus 5 tenant and bedroom issue in a moment, but they were basically told that that would put that on hold, the existing notice of violation and the corresponding court date that was scheduled so that we could do this. If the board feels that it's a better venue to address it at the housing court level, to address the notice of violation before we come back, I think it still puts us in a similar position nonetheless, but we welcome whatever the board suggests.
Council, staff, any response?
Go ahead, if you want to. You want me to? Okay. I would continue it.
Okay. Anybody on the board, everybody okay offering to extend this? Council,
Would you like?
it's obviously your app staff.
Okay, so to answer your question previous, which was the question about the, is it one house with 6 bedrooms or a 2-family? We will get that. I believe the building official has addressed it in passing, but we can get something more specific.
Yeah, I'd like something really
with
definitive.
with your concern.
Yep.
And
Okay.
we'll also confirm with the building official that it was in fact, and maybe Mr. Meyer can confirm, was it a cease and desist that you received or just a notice of violation?
So the other question I have is this one that we have here, is it the same that's already in process, or is this additional?
We're unaware. We got the notification the same time, almost the same time you did, late this afternoon.
All right, so if we can find out if there's 1 or 2, I'd like to know. All right, counsel. We'd like to offer you a continuance on this, all right? It's up to you. On behalf of your counsel, on behalf of, okay. I don't believe we have to take a vote on that, but, yeah.
Yeah, the other thing, I brought this up with staff. There's no date, there's no signature on these plans.
That would be correct. That's what we received with the application, and that was
I know that's what you received, but
Yeah, and in
See-
light of
see-
the situation, I think something
yeah. You,
more specific, yeah, counsel, go ahead.
no.
I do
Yeah.
apologize, I was actually just formally retained by the client on Friday.
No problem, relax. We're pretty relaxed here.
So needless to say, we are well aware that we need signed and stamped plans.
Yeah.
On par with the site plan that was provided. Those are being prepared as we speak. So we do anticipate having a full set of plans. Most importantly, also showing the location of the staircase that goes up and down between the two to show that it's not obstructed. Indeed, there's a laundry area, a laundry room in the basement level that's used by the 3 tenants upstairs as well as the 2 downstairs. This is the first time I had heard that there was 6. I confirmed with my client that there is not 6, so it sounds to me like we may need to hash this out.
Yeah,
Anyway.
all right, so we're all in agreement to continue? All right?
Move to continue.
Yeah. I need a motion.
Second, I think Doc moved it, I'll second
I
it.
just moved.
All those in favor of continuing this to our next, hold on, would you like, our next one is in a month. You want more time? No, that's fine. Okay. To our next scheduled meeting? Yeah.
Do we have enough room on that next
Yeah.
scheduled meeting?
At the moment?
This isn't going to be a 5-minute discussion, obviously.
Yeah, this one's going to be a long one, so do we
can
have
put it on
room?
right now, Dr. O'Neill, yes.
We have
It will
room?
move, it will move to the front of the next line.
Okay. All right. All right.
It's
All those in
October
favor?
21st, by the way.
Right.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Counsel, good luck. You've heard some of the questions we have. All right, thank you.
And Mark,
Yeah.
is this the wrong venue to again bring this up? I've brought this up before. If somebody comes in with a plan and they have a piece of paper with lines drawn. They don't sign it, they don't date it, there is no stamp, and it's submitted. How, how can we accept that as the plan? I mean, I just, my gray hair is speaking here. I mean, it's just, it's too soft, you know?
Especially in complicated issues. All right.
Which is why I favor full plans.
Counsel, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. All right. Next item. KSN LLC Plat B, Lot 76-A3, Glenda Way, Glenda Drive. Hello, welcome. How are you? Good. So the applicant, you being the applicant, is submitting a request to demolish an existing front entry deck and construct a new front entry deck with stairs and a concrete landing at the above-mentioned property. This project requires a variance in dimensional regulations 6.4. The property is also located in high water table limitations overlay district 4.5. Existing lot 76-A is approximately 10,713 square feet in size. It is located in an R20 zone district and is currently improved with 38 by 24 foot single-family dwelling, a 23 by 12 right side yard deck with stairs and gravel pathway, a 3.7 by 5.5 right side yard outdoor shower and gravel drive. Existing lot coverage is approximately 1,333 square feet or 12%. Existing site coverage is approximately 1,121 square feet or 10.4%. Proposal, remove of existing front entry deck and stairs. Construction of an 8 by 6 front porch with stairs with landing. Proposed lot coverage will be approximately 1,406 square feet or 13%. Proposed site coverage will be approximately 1,132 square feet or 10.5. Okay? This project does not comply with dimensional regulations of section 6.4 for a substandard lot of record, as the front yard setback proposal is 19 feet versus 29 feet. Proposed construction encroaches onto the front yard setback 19 feet, proposed 29 required, which does not comply with the modifications. All right, specific for standard lot of record, section 6.4 dimensional regulations. My understanding from your application is that this is required because to replace the front stairs is actually an obstruction with the utility or something? Is that true? Yes. Okay. So my question is, in driving by, yes?
Mr. Chairman, could we please have the applicant's name?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's true.
Tim Steer, thank you.
What's your role? Sorry? What is your role? Okay, is the light on? There we go. And if you want to pull it towards you. You're the owner?
Yeah.
Okay. Has this already been constructed, or is it to be constructed?
To be constructed.
Okay, great.
Wait a minute. Did you go by today?
Yeah, I did go by it. That's why I asked the question. It looks like it's already been constructed, but, all right. All right, so it's to be constructed. All right. So welcome. Can you tell us in your words what you need to do, why you need to do it, and how it's going to be done?
The old deck, the existing deck, was becoming unsafe, and the posts were just resting right on the ground. No fasteners, no concrete, anything like that. So in order to do the new deck, the utility is under the ground there, and we have to make it slightly bigger.
Okay. I have a quick question just to clarify things. You're the owner?
Yes.
Okay. The application says that Katie Winchard is the owner?
Yeah. I'm here in her place. Yeah.
So are you the owner or is she the owner?
Well, she's the owner.
Okay, so you're not the owner?
No.
Okay. Okay. And in the application, it says she lives there? Or she does not?
No.
No. So is this a rental property?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to clear some conflicts in my mind. Dr. O'Neill?
Yeah, I went by there today, and it isn't finished, but it's, pretty well built. I don't quite understand why you're here unless somebody called the building inspector and said, we've got something going on here. Why would somebody call? I don't understand that.
Yeah.
What was here before? There was an entrance here, correct?
Yeah, the same exact
Yeah.
deck. Yeah, with stairs. The door is off the ground.
Yeah.
Same.
Well, you're well underway in terms of construction, and the only reason you would be here is somebody dropped a dime on you. The question is why?
I don't think anybody would
No?
drop. No, I don't.
Well, why didn't you get the building permit before you did this?
That would be up to the contractor. I'm not exactly sure. I don't have that answer.
So wait a minute, I'm going to interrupt Doc. So I'm going to go back to my other earlier question. So is the deck that I saw today the original deck, the entranceway, or is it a new construction?
It has been started a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, so I asked you if you're the owner, you said yes. Now you say no. I asked you if this deck is the original deck, or is it a new deck? You said it's the original deck. Now it's sort of constructed. I drove by.
I don't think I ever said it was the original deck that you saw today.
I'm not going to debate it, okay?
Okay.
All right. Doc, any questions?
Let me think. Go ahead.
Okay.
Just curious, could you tell me what utility and where it is?
There is utility.
What utility is it? Is it electric? Is it gas? Is it water? Is it sewer? Is it,
You
what
have
is
to
it?
ask my contractor.
Okay, thank you.
Steve?
The contractor.
You'll get your turn. Steven's up.
Hi. Yeah, I was also curious about what the utility was, but I've certainly had to work around utility lines with sonotubes before, so I can understand, not, obviously you can't put them on top because you got to get frost protection, so they have to go down, whatever it is, 38 inches, 36, 42, whatever it is.
42.
42. So you're not going to get it if you have utility lines underneath. Could you just clarify for us what your relation is with the owner and why you're here?
Boyfriend.
Okay, right on. Boyfriend, perfect. So I assume you're dealing with the contractor and you can get these answers for the zoning board before you come before them?
Yes.
Okay. So I understand you're asking for 10 feet of variance from the front yard setback, but really, we're only extending the deck 2 feet into that setback, right?
I believe so,
So
yeah.
it looks like it's an additional 2 feet. I also drove by, it does look like you've started construction, but you haven't added the stairs yet. So you can't even get in there right now. Obviously, it's better to get the permit before you start work. I hope that anybody listening in the public would try to get their permits before they start working on their homes. But I can certainly sympathize with you having a utility in the way and trying to work around that. I would say there might be some way to cantilever over if you put it on the inside, but as long as you're not creating less parking, then I don't have a particularly large issue with that. It is next to your parking area, so I hope that that's not the case. And I bet it would help you when you go to the zoning board if you could maybe add some parking, because I only see 2 spaces here. I don't know how many bedrooms you have in this house, but even on the satellite image, I see 4 cars there, and 2 of them are parked in the public right-of-way. So if you tell them, hey, look, I'm going to double the driveway, might go a long way to help you.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
I had a couple of questions. I said, so there's no building permit, and we started building. So were you given a cease and desist? Was he given a cease and desist on this?
No, we currently have no complaints, and it was just a straight-up application for,
Okay,
for
all
relief.
right. So the plans are difficult to read. So the front access, from what I could see today, it's difficult to access. So where are the two accesses, egresses to the building? If the front one really...
The house
Yeah,
to enter inside the house?
yeah.
There's, off that side deck, there's a slider. There's a slider on the opposite side, and what we call the front entrance would be
Okay, so there are two. You have the two sliders.
correct.
Okay, all right. And how many bedrooms is the house?
I believe it's 3 or 4. I'm sorry, I don't have that information. 3 or 4.
live there?
Do we have any
I don't live
information?
there, no.
We don't, because I couldn't find it. And there were 4 cars, so I'm presuming there's 4 tenants. All right. Okay. So my concern was with tenants' access and egress. Yeah, I noted, just as Steve, issue of parking. With 4 cars, again, I don't know how many bedrooms there are, but you have 4 tenants.
Yeah,
Based on what I
there's-
could, there are
Sorry,
4
go ahead.
tenants.
I'm not sure, I was going to say there's 2 separate entrances, so that entrance is not currently being used right now.
Right. So there's 2, hold on, now I'm confused, I'm old. So are you saying that are there 2 entrances to one dwelling, or are there 2 entrances, one to each, like, apartment?
No, to one dwelling.
One dwelling. Okay. All right. I'm not trying to give you a hard time. I'm just really kind of lost in this, and I have to make a recommendation. Staff, you look like you want to say something to me. Okay. All right.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
Like you, I think there are some pieces of this that, on their face, do not make a lot of sense. And I'm finding it difficult to lend credibility to not knowing, and it's likely no fault of your own if you're not the contractor. You don't know where the utilities are. You not necessarily know how many bedrooms are in there. Don't know when the permit was applied for, so on and so forth. My recommendation would be, unless you're seeking to get an adverse recommendation from this board tonight, is to move to continue this, give you an opportunity to go back and speak with the owner, and either get the full story or come back and have the owner come and make the presentation next time out. Otherwise, I'm not inclined to support this evening.
Yeah, I was, and I'm sorry, again, I'm not trying to make you, I'm married. I've been married 48 years, and I don't know anything either. But it would have been wise to bring,
Well, she's
Your
at
contract.
home with our dog is.
okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But it would have been good, it would have been
Right.
advised, and I don't know if you've ever done this before.
No.
You should have brought the builder. He or she should have come. Doc?
Yeah, the other thing, I agree with Tom. I don't think we have all the facts here, but if we do have this applicant come back, we want to see the floor plans, because this could be, again, two different apartments in this structure, with this exit here being reconstructed obviously for a purpose. The elderly are not going to go up and down that height. So if it's being constructed as I saw it, those are young legs.
Rupert? I think the question right now is, do we offer a continuance, or do we continue with our review of this? I'd like your comments on.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with continuance. I am baffled by the whole design and everything.
Okay. Steve?
I mean, I'd like to see it go forward to zoning. I think he can iron these out in the next month and, plead his case there since we're an advisory body, but I understand that it looks like it's going to go continuance, and I'd support that as well, but.
Okay, thank you. I don't know what to advise right now. That's my problem. I would like to know how many bedrooms there are, and if we have 4 bedrooms, do we have 4 tenants? What do we have? That's just,
Can I ask her right now? Would that help?
yeah, and go
Mr.
ahead,
Chairman,
Scott.
I just want to make a point of clarification that the applicant is, though we can clarify how many bedrooms the
Right.
house is currently, that the tax assessor currently has them as. However, the applicant's asking for a variance for external changes to their house. They're not adding
Yeah, I
any bedrooms
appreciate
or
that.
anything.
Well, we have questions with parking. If we have 4 tenants, then we need parking for 4. So, and that's external. And the times I've gone by, there's 4 cars. So that's my question. Because, just like observation of a deck, of an entranceway being constructed without a building permit, if the observation is that there's 4 tenants and there's 4 cars, there should be 4 spaces. It's probable cause.
Yeah, we'll confirm with the building official.
Okay. Let me explain to you. Let me explain to you what we're offering here. Okay. We're a little bit confused on things, and it's not your fault. We don't have the information. What we're going to do is offer you a continuance, so there's no decision here. It'd be sort of like we put it on pause, give you an opportunity. You've heard our questions and our concerns. Get that information together, bring your contractor back so that they can readily answer those questions. And we put you on next month's agenda if we have room. I don't suspect this would take a lot of time if we have the information.
At the moment, we can put them on the.
Okay, great. You have the option of that, or you can say no, and then therefore we would have to make a recommendation to zoning, and you would go to zoning. What do you want to do? Do you want to take a break here and you want to go in the hallway and consult? I would do that. Yeah. Okay, why don't you call, explain that you're being offered a continuance because there are a lot of unanswered questions. Okay. And it would be, you need to bring the builder, and we would hear it next month. Okay?
The builder has to be here.
What's that?
You definitely want the builder.
I would recommend, that way we can get definitive questions answered. Yeah. All right? It would be better for you, but you can choose to do what you want. I can't tell you what to do. I'm just telling you, out of practice, it would be better to have someone who can give definitive answers to us to very essential questions. So at this point, I'll give you a postpone right now. Do you want to go in and out and talk to your client? You might want to do that. Give her a call, tell her the situation, come back, give me a wave, and I'll fit you back in again. You want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Terrific.
Mark?
All right. Yes.
Before you go, I would add just one piece to that is, you have the option, as Mark described, and kind of go forward without a recommendation or without an affirmative recommendation from the board. So the choice that you're facing is either to continue and come back the way that Mark described, or have the board make a decision tonight, which if it was, not saying I'm not going to prejudge where everyone's going to land, but if it was a negative, recommendation, that would be traveling with you along to the board, to the zoning board. Okay?
Okay. So that help you? All right. Good luck. All right. So we're going to put that on hold. Everybody agree with that?
Yes.
All right. Lemagana, Plat N, Lot 9, 23 Stanton Avenue. Hello there.
Hello,
Long time no see.
same. So it's Lamagna for the record.
Mamanya.
Yes,
Thank
good
you.
try.
All right. You would think with a mother, Maria Josepina Antoinette de Ciciola, I'd come close.
That should have been an easy one. for
Yeah,
you.
God. I have problems with Mark Brady.
At least it wasn't La Manja.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Plat Assessors N, Lot 9, 23 Stanton Avenue. The applicant is submitting a request to construct an attached elevator addition to the above referenced property. This project requires a special use permit and a variance from the Coastal Resources Overlay District, Section 4.4, and a variance from the Dimensional Regulations 6.4. The property is also located in the Special Flood Hazard Area, Section 4.7. Previous applications, the property has received the following zoning approvals. Zoning Board approval dated December 12, 2011, to demolish existing three-bedroom dwelling and construct a 33 by 57 bedroom, four-bedroom dwelling at the above-mentioned property. Existing conditions. Lot 9 is approximately 8,318 square feet in size, is located in R10 zoning district, and is currently improved with a 44 by 34 dwelling, a 14 by 20 rear yard porch, an 11 by 14 rear yard deck with stairs, 8 by 7.15 front yard stairs, and a 33.5 by 23-foot driveway. Existing lot coverage is approximately 1,960 square feet, or 23%. Construction of a 6 by 5 left side yard addition to accommodate an elevator. Proposed lot will be approximately 1,990 square feet, or 24%. All right, this project is located within a Coastal Resources Overlay District. It's flagged for the closest points. A lot will be serviced by water and sewer. The project is located in a FEMA flood zone. All right, so you have those two things to deal with besides us. So if you can introduce yourself, your role, and tell us what's up.
Sure. Good evening. My name's...
Bring the mic down. Yeah.
And can you make sure that the red light is on?
Yeah, it's on. The
All
red
right.
light's on. Can
Go
you
for
hear
it.
me?
Yeah.
I am Laura Krikorian. I'm an architect with offices in Wakefield, been in business 33 years, and I'm here to present the application for my client, John Lamagna, and his wife, Tammy, who are the property owners of 23 Stanton Avenue.
Are they here?
Pardon me?
John?
Yes.
John,
Lamagna is here
if you
with us
want, you're
tonight.
welcome to chime in. So, all right.
So as it was stated in the summary, there is an existing house on this property, and...
Could you bend that mic down?
Yeah, bring it to
Bend
you.
it down. There
Is
you
that
go. Now
better?
you'll speak it. Thank you.
Yeah, most people think you got to kind of talk at it. You got to talk right directly at them.
Got it. Is that better?
That's
Yeah,
better.
that's great.
Okay. There is an existing house on the property, and we are here tonight because my client would like to add about a 30 square foot addition for an elevator. This project, being in the flood zone, has all of its living space raised a whole level above grade. The lower level is equipped with flood vents and is for dead storage and parking of cars only. So their next level above that is their bedroom and bathroom level, and then the top floor is their kitchen, dining, living. As they have been in the house since 2011, 2012. They've owned the property, I thought, since 2011. Yep, and then we did, right. Yep, so they've been in the house since 2012, and every year the stairs have gotten a little bit steeper. And they really would like to be able to stay in Narragansett and age here gracefully and continue to use the house as they grow old. John's wife also does have some back issues and has been recommended to have back surgery. So they're looking towards the future and trying to be proactive and be able to still access the house. We did study quite extensively the floor plan since I did design the house, and originally I had access to all of the floor plans. And it seemed that no matter which floor we were on, if the elevator worked on the lower level, it was going to arrive in the kitchen on the top level or go through a bathroom on the middle level. So we did work really hard to try to locate the elevator inside the footprint of the house. But this location in terms of the floor plans, tucked into the front southeast corner of the house, was the one location where we are not disrupting the parking of cars in the garage on the lowest level where we need to drive in and get into the elevator. It lands in a stair hallway on the second floor without blocking the stair or any access to it, and it lands as an addition on the third floor in a location where we could cross over into the main living level of the main living area of the house. So it is about just about 30 square feet. We understand that we don't meet that side yard setback. We are 4.9 feet from the edge of the addition to the property line with 9.9 required. We have actually selected the elevator now, so we do have more specifics about that unit, and there is a possibility that we could actually pull the addition in a tiny bit more to get to 5 feet for that property line, but we're asking for the 4.9 just in case that isn't able to happen. We also are within 126 feet of an isolated coastal wetland that has been flagged by Ed at Avazzini's, who is a biologist. But we are not going any closer than the existing house is to that coastal wetland, and it is more than 100 feet away. So we felt that this was the best location for the elevator to be placed in terms of its functioning, and also in terms of it being tucked into the side of the building. It does have a hipped roof that's similar to the little porch down below, and it will be finished with cedar shingles and some flares to blend it in with the rest of the structure. So that's what we are requesting tonight.
Okay. Doc?
You probably know where I'm going, but the reason that you need the distance or a 3-story house around your property is not only for the fire protection people to get past it, but for a ladder, right? You can't go up 3 floors with that 5 foot or a little less than 5 feet. You need close to 10. So from my standpoint, one of my family put in an elevator recently, and they put it inside the house. So it can be done other than this way. I know it doesn't fit with your plan, and you're obviously very creative, but I can't support something that creates a safety barrier on that whole side of your house. You could say, well, they go around the other 3 ways. When you're dealing with minutes to get somebody off the 3rd floor, that's not the way the fire people think, you know? So I can't support what you're doing. The elevator's fine, but the idea of it imposing on that distance along the side of the house, I can't support.
Okay. Tom? Rupert, I'm sorry.
So I have two questions. So on the application, it talks about closing in the porch, putting windows in the porch.
That's a totally different part of the, we don't need any relief for that
Okay.
part of the project.
Okay,
It
so
is an
the
existing-
FAR and everything still falls
Yep,
with,
it's,
okay.
it's not going to be a heated space.
And then the other point that really isn't our purview, but I think is an issue for you maybe with the elevators, the being in the flood zone, the mechanicals needing to be above flood levels.
They will all be above the flood zone. The
Yeah.
mechanical room actually is up on the 3rd floor
Oh,
presently.
interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So
Reverse of what I'm
it's up on
used
the
to
top,
thinking, okay.
And it is an electric elevator that has, the machine room can be in any location as long as it's less than 10 feet away. But that machine room is located on the 3rd floor.
So it would be a lift.
Overhead drum.
So,
And the whole lower level of the addition is proposed to be pressure-treated lumber with a flood, there is a flood vent proposed in there as well, so it will meet flood zone requirements.
Yeah, I saw the vent, yeah.
Being that it's closer than 5 feet to the property line also, it is required to be fire rated all the way up, and that would be provided for the elevator shaft. That's in the building code requirements, that if you are closer than 5 feet to the property line, you need to fire rate the entire, that section of the structure that's closer.
all right. Rupert, you all set? Tom?
Could I ask the staff to put the satellite image up, please? Just to be clear, this is the area right here that you're adding,
Yes,
and this is your neighbor's driveway right here?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And then I guess the only other question not question, but just, you have a coastal feature issue as well, and although you're not going to do anything to bring any closer to the coastal feature, the fact that it's triggered suggests that there's language there that the zoning board will have to make an affirmative finding that what you're doing here will actually enhance the protection of the coastal feature. Have you thought about that?
I mean, we actually could have gone through with a staff review if I didn't need the side yard variance because of the distance to the coastal feature.
Having said that, the zoning board will still have to make an affirmative finding. Have you thought about that yet? If not, it's not a problem. When you get there,
Sure, I
if they're
appreciate
paying,
that.
if they're paying attention, they'll be asking you that.
Thank you.
We try to give people a heads up of what's coming.
I like that.
That way you can be prepared. It's something we've done. Steve?
Hi. So you said you did the original architectural drawings too on this building?
Yes,
Do you remember if you needed a side yard variance then?
we did not.
You did not, okay,
Nope, we did not. I don't think we needed any variances.
okay. This required no variances, Jill? Do you know? You don't know? I don't know either.
Well, I don't recall specifically,
Okay.
but it looks like a substantive lot of record. So the
Yep.
old dimensional variances would have been 8 feet. I presume it's 8 feet off the lot line.
Yes.
Okay.
That is correct.
All right. I also have put in interior elevators. I understand it's difficult with 3 stories after the new state law changes. I tried to put in a 3-story interior elevator recently, and the elevator company basically said, we don't know how to get a permit for it anymore. The state's made it too difficult. They don't want to do it anymore. So you'd need 2, which definitely makes it more difficult. But you're very close to that sideline, and you wouldn't get any closer to the coastal feature putting it out the back of the house either. So something to think about, but, you want an elevator, I understand the desire for an elevator. So I'll leave it there, but.
Okay. Staff, you want to offer anything? Okay. So most of my questions were answered. One question I did have is, any consideration to tucking it in the back? That's what I was looking at, because my thought was it wouldn't put you any closer to the coastal feature, and it would keep that lane totally open. Was
So
there-
in the back,
In the back of the house.
You mean towards the,
You might have,
west, to
like,
the
integrate it
west?
within the deck,
yep, so that would land in a bedroom
okay?
on the second floor and in the dining room in front of the windows to the view on the top floor.
I got you. Okay. I have the same concerns on the setback. It's obviously a workaround because it's not the whole side, but I do have concerns on that setback for fire, especially with a 3-story building. So, and I don't know if zoning is going to have the same concerns, but it's something to consider. Okay, it's pretty tight for a 3-story building, but, and it's just a fire and safety issue on my part. All right. Any neighbors or anybody want to comment on this? Sir, in the back, in the cheap seats, come on forward. If you could slide that microphone over so the gentleman can use it. Well, you want to take a chair?
Here, I can move my things.
Please identify yourself, your address, so we know you're from Narragansett.
Testing, testing, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, so my name is Jim Flynn, 22 Stanton Avenue, I live across the street. I oppose the project. A couple of things. The house was built in 2013 or 2012 here, per the tax assessor. At the time, it was zoned, which is still is R10, substandard lot of record, 50 feet of frontage. Side yard setback is 8 feet. They built the house 34 feet wide, so they maxed out when they built it 8 feet and 8 feet on each side. When you look at the house, you have to ask yourself, with the architect here, I mean, the original plan, did they talk about an interior elevator at the time of construction? I mean, you build on three stories. If you look at the house, the whole front on the third level of the house, I got a picture of it if you want to see it. Anybody want to look at it?
Sure, if you want to submit it.
The third level.
You're going to submit that as evidence?
Yeah, the third level, actually, I'm across the street, and this is my issue. The third level is only like half a house. So there's a lot of room in that house that was never given too much thought about a possible elevator.
I'm sorry, could you
okay.
repeat what you said?
Yeah, what was I gonna say?
You were
Oh, yeah, the front of the house, it's like a half a house. The whole front there's nothing there, it's just a tin roof. And it looks to me like, a little bit of poor planning on the future of what you're planning to do. And that being said, that house was planned pretty good to get a view to the ocean, because down here in Narragansett, everything's about the view. It's all about the view. So they pushed that house as far back as they could to get to the Cobra line where, in the flood zone, because once you're in the Cobra, you're not eligible for flood insurance. So they basically came right up against it. So that'd be, by getting the house further back towards the ocean, you got the best view possible, which is fine. You have a question?
No?
Oh, okay. So I can show you that too. This is the FEMA map. Circled in red, and that's the Cobra line right in here.
Okay, if you could repeat that from the microphone so that we can pick that up.
So I just put into evidence the house showing the Cobra line for the FEMA. So they pushed it back as far as they could so that they were still eligible for flood insurance. So what else we have to say? I think that the relief requested is if it was to be accepted, it would be set a bad precedent. The original setback was 8 feet, which is fine. But when you actually look at it, when you look at this map, they show the site plan 4.9 where the elevator would be.
Mr. Flynn,
And
can
when
you
you
speak
go-
into that microphone?
Yeah,
People in the back have no
Oh, you
idea
can't,
what
oh,
you're
I'm sorry.
saying, okay?
I could hear myself really
Thank
good.
you. Yeah.
So when you go, when you look at the site plan, the elevator shows 4.9 feet from the side yard setback. And then when you go to a detail, the elevator says it's going to come out 2 feet 10 inches from the side of the house. So you got 2 feet 10, call it 283, and 4.9. So it's saying that the house, existing house, is at 773. Call it 3 inches. And it's supposed to be 8. So it looks like it wasn't even built in the right spot to begin with. But neither here nor there, it's built now. Where am I? Yeah, so basically, in essence, I think that the proposed setback would be, just set a bad precedent. Looking at the picture, I'm across the street. When I built my house in 2007, across the street there was basically all beach cottages. So I had, being across the street, I mean, it is what it is, you're not on the ocean side. But I had a totally unobstructed view from George's of Galilee right to the West Gap, $1 million view. And then from that time until today, actually probably in a span of 5-6 years, four houses across the street all got built up. And that view went down to not much. And you can see it right there. So I'm down to a nice window, a beautiful window. I'm not complaining whatsoever. But this is just going to knock more of a view out of my perspective. It's just going to encroach, my line of sight where he's proposing that elevator. So that's about it. That's all I can say.
Thank you.
All right?
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else who'd like to add anything? No? Okay. Doc, redirect.
Yeah,
Hold on. We have a delayed call here. Young lady, you want to come up?
Hello.
Hello there. If you could state your name and your address?
My name is Patricia Richopi, and I live at 27 Stanton Avenue. And I'm that driveway that you were looking at. I concur with everything that Jim has said, especially he is, going to lose his limited view. But the other thing is, I'm just concerned about the precedent that would be set, because now that elevator is going to encroach our property line. So I'm just concerned about approval and what precedent it would set for future approvals in our area.
Okay.
And that's all.
Thank you.
Okay, thank
Appreciate it. All right. Dr. O'Neill, redirect?
Yeah, I just can't say it too often. I guess I do, but I mean it. My life I have devoted to preventing tragedy. And when we have an opportunity, and obviously there is an opportunity here, not to narrow that passageway there, I can't see how the reason is preventing tragedy. These folks present other arguments in terms of views and vision, and that's important too in life. But I just the elevator can be installed elsewhere. It doesn't have to encroach on that passageway, and I can't support it.
Okay. Rupert? Don't have anything to add. Nothing? Okay. Tom?
My initial inclination on this one was to be supportive. I am less concerned about the fire safety issues presented here, given some of the narrowness of some of the things that we've seen in the past with that driveway there. Having said that, having the abutters, having the direct abutter where the driveway is there, it would have been different if there had been some consultation in advance, and either it had been worked out or there had been some provision made that over the long haul, to answer Doc's question and other questions that have been raised here in terms of fire safety, that there had been some type of agreement that could be entered into the land records, that there wouldn't be any development that would impede fire safety on that side. Absent that, I'm going to find this one a little difficult to support at this point in time, given the fact that while it may be more expensive, maybe less aesthetically pleasing in terms of the living arrangements, there is another option in terms of doing something on the backside.
Steve?
Sure. I'm also very concerned about fire safety. As far as that part of the house that'll be within 5 feet of the property line, it's an elevator shaft. There's no windows in it. There won't be a ladder going up against that. They have enough room to get the ladder by, but being a 3-story building, you need more than even 8 feet to get a ladder up to the 3rd floor and get a guy on it. So you're already in a bit of a precarious situation. Obviously, they can mount the deck, and we have the ladder truck. There are workarounds, but once you put this in, that ladder truck's not going to be able to get by it really well to get to those back windows either. So there's a lot going on, and because the abutters are here, it's very difficult for me to support this as much as I would like to, because I'd like your clients to be able to live in their home comfortably for as long as they want to live there. It's a tough one. I'll grant you that the floor plans don't leave much room for an elevator shaft inside the house. I will grant you that. But I'd like to support it. I wish you luck at the zoning board. It is a tough one. It's a big ask. And that's all I've got.
Okay. Staff, anything to add? No? Would you like to add anything? Okay. I usually reserve my stuff for last if I have anything to say. And to me, this is, I designed my house to be wheelchair accessible, so I appreciate it. Sadly, I woke up one day and it was banging 70, and 4 months earlier I was 35. And I would love to see you stay in your home. Everybody should. It's a fire safety issue for me. That's really, really tight. And if somebody puts up shrubs over there, or trees, or fence, or something like that, I've been playing, architect here, and I agree, the floor plan doesn't make it easy, but you do beautiful work, and I would love to see it an elevator approved, but I don't know I can fully endorse the setback on this design, so hope to see a different design maybe. All right. Doc, you have something?
Yeah, just one thing. This comes up again and again, the business of the neighbor and an open area, the driveway, whatever. The next neighbor puts the chain link fence up. There's no, chainsaw isn't going to move that out of the way. You can't, this idea of, well, it looks okay today. Well, that's not what we're talking, this is the planning board. You have to plan for the worst end of it, not the best end of it, In any case, God bless America.
Okay. Anybody else want to add anything else? All right, do I have a motion as to comprehensive plan?
That's a good question, yeah. I guess we can do that. The application is complete, and does it conform with the town comprehensive plan? Staff thinks it does? I mean, the idea of putting an elevator in the house does, so that part of the application certainly does.
So, Dr. O'Neill, I was remiss to mention 3 applications ago, and possibly even last month, that if you've noticed your staff reviews look, or your site reports look a little bit different, and we've been trying to incorporate the comprehensive plan and the goals, policies, and action items in the comprehensive plan. So
Yeah.
we did provide to you, Amanda did provide to you some of the relevant policies for that. We do suggest that it could comply, but it really, that's the board's call. It's your prerogative. If you want to look at the policies that we provided, or if there are any other policies that you may have identified to determine if they apply. And
You're
if
more
the
of a
project
Patrick
complies
candidate
with
than I am.
those.
You do. Go ahead.
So I move that the application before us is consistent with the land use policies of the comprehensive plan.
Seconded?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Do I have a motion on the application? A recommendation to council? You look like you want to say something. Do I have a recommendation to the zoning board? Understand that it is, if it is a negative recommendation, we need to define it in legalese versus hardship, okay? So does anybody have a motion?
I'll take a shot at it. I move the application before us, tax assessor plat in Lot 9, negatively to the zoning board, 23 Stanton Avenue, negatively to the zoning board. The variance standard that the hardship's not the result of prior action of the applicant. The applicant designed and built the house. And then the planning board review, compliance with all applicable development performance standards. It doesn't in its compatibility with surrounding land uses, protection of adjoining properties from adverse impacts, and availability of alternatives to the proposed project.
Second.
Do I have a second?
Second. Third.
All right. All those in favor of the recommendation of the zoning board as worded, say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Unanimous.
I have a question,
Go for
Mark,
it.
actually. I'm having a hard time with this. Can I abstain from this vote?
Yeah, you absolutely can.
All right, I'd like to abstain.
Yeah, one abstention. I was coming close, too. I'd like to see it done. Fire and safety is such an
But
issue
it can
for
be
us.
done.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
said that earlier.
We had a vote. All right. Good luck. Okay.
Now, these people may lead these young people to want to teach them what drop a dime means.
We drop a dime means. I'll write that down.
Can I ask?
You lost your thing.
Can I ask?
All right, young ladies, there's a question here from the old guy. He wants to know if you know what the term drop a dime means. What's that? Somebody snitches. Okay. All right.
The drop the dime nomenclature comes from back when a payphone cost 10 cents, for those of you who don't know.
Comes where?
From when a payphone cost
that's right,
10
yeah.
cents. Yes.
Yeah.
When there were-
That was dropping the dime.
When there were payphones.
When there were payphones.
Yeah. Hello, you know what payphones are? Google it. Hello, young man. You look relieved.
Well, Katie is at home with our sick dog, so I have her on the phone. I was wondering if there's any questions she can help answer.
No, she'd have to be here. So what's before us is, and that's why I asked you to consult Katie. You have options. You continue, all right? That means no finding here, no harm, no foul. You go back, you regroup, you come back next month with the answers. You know what the questions are. The other option is that we go through, we make our recommendation to the zoning board, and you go to zoning, all right? Again, no harm, no foul. It's just your option. We do have serious questions that we need someone competent to answer those questions, and I think the builder would probably be that person. Okay?
Chairman, if I could add to your points. If you go to the zoning board, you can take information that you don't have in front of us now.
Right. So you can go to zoning. You have our reaction. It gives you a time to regroup and bring new materials to zoning that you don't have here. Yeah, Doc.
The zoning board's a decider. It's the zoning board that makes the decision.
They make the decision, we just
make a
recommend.
recommendation.
Do you ever go to these meetings before? No. If you're reading the board right, there's nobody sitting here who's going to vote in your favor. Take the continuance.
Whoa,
Change.
Whoa, Doc, we can't make recommendations to them. We can offer them the option.
I am. In my way, you do it your way. If you can read the board, take the continuance. God bless you, whatever you decide.
We've had, I think the questions we've asked you, you've answered to the best of your abilities, but.
The deck, it's not affecting the parking. The parking will be the same. I know you had a question about the parking.
Well, we have a question about how many people are in the house. How many bedrooms?
Three-bedroom house.
Three-bedroom house.
Yep.
3 tenants. But there's 4 cars usually parked there. So how many tenants do you have? All right, and you have, so you have parking for 2 cars. You have 3 tenants. So you don't have enough parking.
But the other question we had was, what is the utility that was in the way of the deck being built where it was?
Yeah.
It was electric and gas.
So are we to understand that you want us to find on this and go to zoning? Ask her. Or would you like to continue this so that you can regroup and come back with people that can answer the questions?
With no prejudice.
There's no prejudice. There's no positives or negatives to it.
Okay, we'd like to go to the zoning board.
Okay. All right. So, all right. So do I have a motion to reopen this? We don't need one. I just wanted to make sure I got all the i's dotted and the t's crossed on this one. Okay. All right. So just to rehash, you are not the owner. Okay?
KSN Realty is the owner.
Mike, can you pull the mic in front of you? Okay.
Right.
So you are not the owner.
KSN Realty, yep.
I understand that. Okay, and there was no building permit and work has started.
There was a permit, and there is a permit. The permit was pulled in May or June or so.
That is correct. For the application to be here, and the way that we received it, there was a building permit, and we can confirm, we've accessed it using Viewpoint.
So they have a building permit, and they started building
No,
this?
they don't have an approved building permit. They've started the process to obtain
So
a
they
building
don't have a
permit.
building permit?
Yes, that's correct.
So
Sorry, I misunderstood.
I keep asking questions, and you keep giving me answers that are not consistent with the truth.
Yeah.
It leaves me very uncomfortable.
Applied for a permit, that's my fault, that's a
There's a huge difference between applying and granting, okay?
I apologize, yes.
All right. You're not endearing yourself here, okay? You're leaving doubt, and this is why the suggestion was to continue this so people who have answers can answer. All right. So there was no building permit. Building is started. It was discovered that there's utilities. So you're saying now that it's electrical and gas are the utilities. But I don't have a plan that shows those. All right. Was DigSafe notified when you started doing this?
Yeah, I'm not sure,
So that's a no, that you don't know? I don't know. It's not a yes, it's an I don't know. Okay. All right. So, Doc, any questions? All right. Rupert, any questions? Tom? I have no further questions. Okay. Steve?
Can I make a comment?
Absolutely, my friend.
All right. So you've heard a lot from us. You've gotten a lot of feedback. You want to go to the zoning board. I don't blame you. You have a front door you can't get into right now. I'm sure your tenants are hounding you. I'm sure your girlfriend is hounding you. My advice, if you take it, is when you go to the zoning board, have the answers to the questions we just asked. These are all public record. They're on YouTube. You can go back and rewatch it, so you don't have to frantically scribble everything we just said. Parking's a huge deal in this town. Might help you to throw a couple parking spaces in there. I understand sometimes tenants have boyfriends or girlfriends or what have you. I know I did. I wish you luck.
Okay. Whatever the decision is, because I'm not going to presuppose what the decision is here, you do know you cannot continue any work until zoning makes a decision. Okay. All right, staff, you want to add anything else to this? Okay. Council, you want to add anything else to this? No. Okay. All right. Do I have a motion on completeness?
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
I'm a little befuddled in terms of how to make this particular.
Yeah, I'm trying to run this through my
I'm
brain.
not sure whether we've heard an adequate amount of information to make a determination that this is consistent with the town's plan of conservation and development, plan of development, a comprehensive plan. I've got my locations mixed up right now. In the absence of that, it would seem to me that the default position is that it is not consistent.
Correct, there's no proof.
Right, okay, so I would move, Mr. Chairman, that this particular proposal as presented this evening in its current form is not consistent with the plan's comprehensive plan.
Okay. Do I have a second on that motion?
Hold on.
Oh, I have,
So there are two, we normally do them together. It's completeness and consistency with the comprehensive plan.
Certainly not complete, and it's certainly
Okay.
not consistent.
okay. There is a second. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed?
I'm opposed.
Okay. So, 4-1.
Then, Mr. Chairman, and again, because of the lack of adequate information to make a determination upon the standards that are included in section 18.5, again, due to the lack of adequate information, I would say that this, but I can't cite which one, because I can't cite which one of these it falls short of. I would say this is not consistent with section 18.5 and leave it at that.
Okay.
Doesn't meet the standards, any of the standards that are delineated in section 18.5.
Okay. Council, you concur?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. All those in favor? No, I need a second. I'm sorry.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
council's good with it, I guess I got to vote
Okay.
aye on that one.
I just saw you press the button. I was figuring there was a comment. Unanimous decision. All right, so we're saying is, we can't give you a positive recommendation because we don't have answers to questions. All right, you're going to go forward, that recommendation is going to go to zoning. All right? Steve gave you excellent advice. I would sit down with your builder or anybody else, a lawyer, whatever, go through tonight's record on YouTube, write down everything that we've talked about, because they're going to ask the same and maybe even more, okay, because they have to make the legal decision, okay?
Yes.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Sorry your first experience was a little uncomfortable, but you'll be better prepared second time around. Good luck. All right. Okay. So that ends site review. Recommendations to Town Council, Section 4.3, Coastal and Freshwater Wetlands Overlay District, review, discussion, and possible action. We had a subcommittee on this. We heard concerns from the Town Council on this particular one. Just for the record, we have not enforced Freshlands water since CRMC and the state took it over. But this was always on our list to bring it up to date. We've been sidetracked on other things, but our practice has been to follow state law and recommendations for this. What we do is serve the applicants in front of us, as you heard tonight, and let them know what's coming before them. So the effort was to bring this up to date. Staff? And I'd like, Steve DeSimone and I served as the subcommittee for this.
Thank you. Okay, so yes, so thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you can see in the memorandum, the freshwater wetlands was actually removed in the rules were promulgated in 2022. We had 12 months. It was effective immediately in 2022, so we didn't enforce, but we did change our ordinance in 2023. And subsequently there was that work session with the town council on August 6th, whereby the town council and their legal expressed some confusion as to the entire section 4.3 and how it applied and when it did and when it didn't, so on and so forth. So as you recall as well, your meeting last month, you set a subcommittee, and the two of you worked on, Mr. DeSimone and Mr. Brady worked on drafting revisions to section 4.3, which you'll see behind me, which we believe, I think we collectively, the three of us believe, that this will address the confusion and make it easier, not only for the council to understand, but for anyone out in the public who this section may apply to make it easier for them to understand as well. So if we just want to go through section by section, Mr. Chairman, will that work for you?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So in section 4.1, which is the districts explained, so that is all of the overlay districts. So I just want to be clear, that's all of the overlays. So that's coastal and freshwater, that's our coastal resources, our high water table, our steep slopes, and our flood zone. And so this section refers to all of them. So you can see where we removed, where you folks removed the phrase and freshwater wetlands and coastal waters. And then we put not, so just for further clarification, not including coastal and freshwater wetlands. And then we changed, we added the word may, because in some instances, there is still the need for a special use permit or site plan review in some of those other instances, in some of those other overlays. If we move on to section 4.3, go, absolutely.
So two things occurred to me when I read 4.1. First is the reference to the spring of 1986. I know that's when the work was done. To a lay person, that's 40-year-old data. And the question is, has the world changed? Has the world changed in any meaningful ways that would suggest that that data is still good or not good?
So A couple of things to that. One, we don't have any more recent, we could use the state's data, which I'm not sure when that was done, but I believe it might be around the same age. And secondly, it takes a long time for wetlands to transform from a wetland to a not a wetland. As I recall, one of the biologists referring to a few years ago, it takes about 30 or 40 years for the hydrology and the soil composition to change. So, but that's a good point, Mr. Callahan. Maybe we want to use more updated, maybe that's something that the town wants to look at in the future. Or if there's another data set that you'd like to refer to in addition to the 1986 data?
No, I don't have an answer for the question. I just want to raise it because, again, this is not something that hasn't been scrutinized, won't continue to be scrutinized as we go through it. So the notion in terms of being able to give a definitive answer, 86 data, good data, and then I think I just heard you say that the data not only applies just to wetlands, but also to the other list of things that are here, and those things have, if you looked at zoning, for example, my guess is zoning has changed a bit over the course of the last 40 years in some locations.
The section 4 refers
Okay.
to 5 overlays.
Okay.
The data referred to in 4.2 is from Searles and Searle was the wetland data.
Yeah, I think a simple answer to this might be call the appropriate human being at DEM and say, this is the data that we're using. Is there anything that more recent that we should be taking a look at? And that way you've got an authoritative third-party answer to the question that can't necessarily be challenged. So that's just one point. And then in the second paragraph and the third line down where they say they are intended, they being the overlay districts, are intended to alert landowners that their property has limitations, or is it has or may have development limitations?
Oh, it could be may has.
May
Yeah,
have,
may,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think
this is just
No,
the
no,
old
I-
language from, yeah.
Again, just
Sure,
knowing
sure.
the scrutiny that this has gotten
Yes,
up until this
absolutely.
point in time.
I can change that to may have.
Thank you.
Okay. So moving on to section 4.3, one of the sources of confusion by a lot of folks, and certainly even within the three of us a couple days ago, was that 150-foot. So we just struck it. So it reads now, the coastal and freshwater wetlands overlay district also includes all land within the biological edge of the above wetlands as established by a wetlands biologist and verified by the applicable state regulating body.
So, Jill, on that, should it refer to the buffer area with the new state law or not?
So that's a good question, Mr. Friday. We did go back and forth on that, and
We did.
without reciting what the state law is, because we run into this with other issues, right, with our subdivision regulations and other things where if we are quoting it directly and they change it, then do we have to change it? I did go back and look, and it looked like it was a 200-foot jurisdiction for undisturbed lands. If it was disturbed, I think it was 100 feet, and if it was in a certain area, it was 50 feet. We can put that in if you like, or, I mean, it's kind of a question. How do you want to refer to that without reciting this? And I think it's the same with DEM and CRMC, because we do have freshwater wetlands in both jurisdictions in this town.
Yeah, I guess if the goal is so that we can alert property owners that are coming with projects that they need to get a DM or CRMC review, it seems like that buffer is part of that, right? To notify them? I don't know, just my
Yeah,
thought.
no, I know what you're saying, but so that was part of the confusion, that people saw that they were in a buffer in it, and they said, well, okay, if it doesn't apply anymore. So we had been using the information, we had been using the information of looking at just the wetlands and then doing the actual measurement and GIS saying, okay, you're within 100 feet. That's like in a neighborhood that's already built out. What we would tell folks is whether you either need to go to DEM or CRMC and either get an assent, in this case, or a permit, or an exemption, or somehow some acknowledgement from them. And in fact, you're not within jurisdiction. They already know that. And either way, just it's a safeguard for them. And I think as we move further down, you'll see what I mean about the safeguard. It allows the applicant, it gives this, I believe, I think all three of us believe that this draft, or at least a draft similar to this, gives the applicant the notification that they may need to seek some other state regulating body approval. And we have been measuring that. Instead of using that overlay, we've been using the measurement tool in our program. But if the pleasure of the board is to actually put in some numerical distance, whether it's the number from the state or something else, please, by all means, this is our time.
I would add, I mean, we spent arduous time on this, and the reason why we didn't put it in is because it made sense not to put it in. You know, the staff works as an advisory, they can use the tool and advise there, but to make it as part of statute is, we just felt was more harm than good.
I'm wondering if it makes more sense to delete the whole sentence. Let me think about that for a second. Because I think I see what you're saying, Mr. Friday, is the sentence begs for the referral to an area outside of the wetland, and we're striking the area outside of the wetland, or outside of the biological edge, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm coming in, if I'm coming into your department for, with a project, if it's in the wetland, you automatically notify me, but I guess your process is you're notifying people outside the wetland too, but.
We're notifying them when
Yeah.
we think, when we have a reasonable belief that they're, well, if there's a wetland on their property, we
Yep.
believe, we know they're in the jurisdiction. But if there's a wetland, you saw one today, right? It was
Right.
off-site in a different lot. I think the applicant offered that information to us. I don't think we asked them for it. I don't know if we would have ever known about that otherwise, but, and it was pretty far away from the project, over 126 feet. So,
Yeah, I don't,
but if there's another, you're right, if there's
I
another
don't-
way to let folks know.
I don't want to beat a dead horse, but.
No, I don't think you are.
Sometimes it feels good to beat a dead horse.
Would it make sense put surrounding the biological edge of the wetlands as established by, yeah, see, I'd have to work on that sentence, I think. Adjacent.
I mean, the minimum setback we know is 50 feet, no matter what any of them are. So I would be fine with you putting within 50 feet, because anybody within 50 feet of a wetland is going to need state approval. I mean, that's the minimum buffer. It just gets more confusing when you add 3 different buffer zones, and nobody knows which one they're in until they
Oh, I
figure
agree.
it out later.
Yeah,
like-
no,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's why we took it out.
So all within, includes all land within 50?
With, when you keep the current language within the biological edge of wetlands as established and verified by applicable state regulating body, and then add the 50 after that, including a 50-foot, or the requisite
Yeah,
buffer, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess you're right, Mark. That is why we struck it, because
Yeah.
then
This is
people
why
are
we
going to
did it,
say,
and-
oh, I only need 50 feet, I don't
Right,
need
exactly.
150 feet, and then it's going to get,
I was trying to formulate how to say this, but yeah,
Yeah, I'm
it's
joking.
like we run into
Yep.
issues here. And, you know, we
I
spent-
retract my proposal.
Okay. All right, so dial me back. Where are we?
Back in terms of whether to add language that would delineate the number. Add language
Okay.
whether to delineate the number of feet.
All right, so are we back to adjacent, or are we
I'm
back?
happy with adjacent, I'm not sure how other people feel.
I think that makes sense.
those of you who are working tonight, what we're actually doing is going through an existing ordinance and bringing it up to date in reference to changes by state law.
Okay.
Are you going to,
Yep, I made the change.
are you going to go to the next page?
I am going to go to the next page.
Before you do, just a couple things.
Sure.
Under 4.3, the first sentence, it is the policy of the state of Rhode Island and the town of Narragansett to preserve and protect coastal and freshwater resources or wetlands?
It says wetlands, we can change it to resources, sure.
I think that would be helpful. And then just as a matter of curiosity, and if this may also be an inquiry down to DEM, I believe the regs before 2022 did not recognize in the state of Rhode Island vernal pools.
Correct.
I think the regulations now do recognize vernal pools, and if they do, you might add that to the list of swamps, marshes, ponds, bogs, intermittent perennial streams, vernal pools, blah, 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 because it's currently not there.
That's interesting, Mr. Callahan, because I believe this language came from the state.
Okay, well, I just.
So let me verify
Yeah,
that, because when
yeah.
we changed it in 2023, I believe we we changed that. So let me confirm.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you.
Before we go to the next page, council, any comments?
No.
Okay.
So you need a recommendation?
Now we got to go through the next
You
page.
got more to do.
Got one more page. Are we all set? Here we go.
Sure. Moving on. Prohibited uses, that is language that was changed in 2023. That's straight from the state law, A and B.
Can I ask a question about B? Doesn't CRMC regulate freshwater wetlands within a certain distance of the coastline?
Yeah, so they have something called freshwater wetlands in the vicinity of the coast.
Correct? So is it just the director of the Department of Environmental Management or the appropriate lead at CRMC?
Again, this came from the state, so I'll double check that.
Okay.
Mhm. Anything else on that? Okay, so moving on, 3, as you can see, the proposal by the folks on the subcommittee was to strike the special use permit uses, which I think was part of the confusion from that meeting. And in response to or sort of in addressing striking the special use permit uses, if we move on, if I could just take these both together and then you can ask questions. The special review uses was added to address some of the concerns or some of the standards in the special permit uses. So under the special review uses, this is language that was already in our ordinance, as you can see. There's some strikeouts and then some adding in, so where we talk about projects that are determined or reasonably presumed to be within the regulatory area. So that goes back to the adjacent, maybe those is better language. Will be subject to state approvals or determination of non-jurisdiction. So that was an addition because it wasn't included prior to, but in some cases the staff doesn't know. Those aren't our regulations, so we don't know them as intimately as the state does. So it was just sort of saying, go get your assent or your exemption. We think you're in, just don't run afoul of the state. And then, so A and B were already in the ordinance, which is the verified wetland edge and preliminary determination, depending upon the jurisdictional authority, of course, and then an approval prior to the issuance of a building permit. So as mentioned in 2023, as mentioned in the previous report, and I believe I mentioned it in this one as well, that edge verification is necessary because it ties into other sections of our ordinance, whereby we use that information to determine what the net lot area is. So the subcommittee, one of the things that they proposed was to add in A, B, and C, which is language actually that had been stricken from the development standards. And after meeting and figuring out how we were going to get these to apply without making them special use permit standards, we came up with the idea that, very similar to the way it's done in section 4.5, that if you're within the jurisdiction, or in section 4.5, if you put a swimming pool in a high water table, you're required to certify to certain standards, or a basement. You're required to certify to certain standards that the project will comply to. So the proposal right now before you, the draft, takes those provisions, those previous standards, and makes them a certification from an appropriate professional.
Can I, I'm going to take these one by one.
Of course.
Did the subcommittee consider adding the word licensed professional?
We did bounce that back and
Subcommittee,
forth.
okay.
We bounced that back and forth, and I forget why we chose what we chose.
I don't recall
Yeah,
discussing licensed
I
or
think
not.
that-
We could add it in.
Yeah, we can add it in. There was a concern with license, I forget why. I think it was,
I would think that there's some professions like
yeah,
wildlife biologist or aquatic
Yeah.
ecologist that isn't licensed, is what I would.
they're just,
Sure.
they're sworn in as expert witnesses, but they're not licensed.
Okay.
Okay.
On A, did the subcommittee include in the thought that in addition to retaining floodwaters, something like, comma, including stormwater?
Subcommittee?
I don't think we did. Obviously, there are stormwater regulations on the books at DEM and CRMC, and I believe we have similar regs on stormwater, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, at one point in time, we got a little frustrated because, we don't know exactly what CRMC and DEM are looking at. And we actually talked about, it'd be nice to get somebody to come down here and explain to us, what do they look at? So we can better do this. So we're kind of poking around a little bit in the dark. We're based it on experience. We based it on what our existing regs are. We know the world is changing, especially with floodwaters and 100-year storms are now 50-year storms, 50-year storms are now 20-year storms, and those types of things. So we try to be, I don't want to say specifically vague, but inclusive without being exclusive. So we have other ordinances on stormwater. We can add it. I mean, it doesn't.
We do have other ordinances for no net runoff in section 7.7.
Yeah.
I mean, one could consider that a belt and suspenders clause to put in, including stormwater.
This is an educational thing. Do you know what a belt and suspenders means? You do.
You do. You don't. The young ladies, do you know what belt and suspenders are? What does that mean? What's it mean? So it's like somebody who wears a belt and wears suspenders. It's redundant. It means that what you're talking about is redundant.
It's extra precautionary.
That's right.
Well,
That's the other side of the coin. That's half full, half empty.
I wouldn't mind seeing some suspenders on this one.
All right.
If my colleagues will join me. If not, I completely understand.
Seems reasonable.
And then on C, then I'd say that the proposed project will not directly or indirectly degrade surface or subsurface water quality. Or it could be surface or ground, actually, it's surface or groundwater quality.
Do I have a concurrence from the board?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay. So one of the things I did after we met was to just do a quick sweep of our ordinance and see where else this may, what other sections may be affected. Of course, section 16 is affected because that's a section for staff reviews. So you can see the changes right there for eligibility. We struck out coastal and freshwater wetlands overlay districts from the section and any other reference to a wetland. And that's it.
So Chairman, this is going to all the different changes of the law and how they interface. Staff review eligibility, construction of sheds, 144 square feet, which is 12 by 12. So there currently is now a provision that if you have a shed, you can turn it into an ADU. So I would suggest adding the language, something like sheds not served by sewer and water, something like that.
Well,
You in
So-
a particular place?
On staff review 16.1E.
So construction of sheds not served by sewer.
In water? That's my suggestion. Because once the shed's there, it can become an ADU.
Oh, no, I know where you're going, Mr. Preddy. I'm trying to, following that thought, do you want to capture, I mean, is sewer OWTS or water?
Oh, yeah.
Or is it utilities? But if you capture utilities, then you're stopping somebody from having
Well-
electricity in their shed or.
Yeah, I wouldn't do electricity, but it doesn't seem like you'd put an OTS for a shed, but I don't know.
Okay, so,
well, I mean, someone could have a big enough shed that it's kind of a workspace and they have water to clean brushes or hands
Yeah.
or garden tools or something like that. So, I mean, if you're talking about where it changes, and now we're making assumptions, where it changes from a shed to a possible living unit, to me, that would be an on-site or sewer.
Yeah, so I think sewer makes more sense than on-site and sewer, because if it has an on-site water treat and they want to turn it into an ADU, they either have to delete an existing bedroom in their home, or they have to get a bigger on-site water treatment system anyway. So, but sewer makes a lot of sense, because if it's sewer, it's like a,
Yeah.
green light, go ahead. But I also would like water not to be in that, because just like you said, I mean, it's nice to have a slop sink in your shed.
But if you have water, you have to have some waste disposal for it, right?
Well, they might dump it into a dry well.
Suppose so. I mean, dry wells exist for a reason, yeah. I mean, there's plenty of people, I'm sure, just putting it right into the dry well. But
There's a lot of stuff out there. But,
As we saw today.
so what's on the floor? Construction of sheds
with sewer,
without?
without sewer, yes. Sorry.
So, let me just be sure I get this straight. These are projects eligible for staff review, right? And so we're adding construction of, we got the construction of sheds of 144 square feet or less, within 50 feet of a coastal feature edge. And what would you like to add, Rupert?
So that it's not just all sheds, so that if the shed is proposing to have a sewer connection,
It would be subject to staff review?
it would not be
It would not-
eligible for staff review. Projects eligible for staff review are limited to the following activities. Right now, it's saying construction of sheds.
So the purpose of this is the purpose of what you want to do is to make clear that there's no ambiguity if someone comes with wants to convert their ADU, excuse me, their shed to an ADU.
Yeah, so build a shed, gets permitted, gets built, and next year you come in and it's an ADU. Because sheds by right can be ADUs.
Okay. But that would essentially, it's not that it wouldn't require an approval. It would require, what you're suggesting is, it's not subject to a staff approval, it'd have to
Correct.
come here.
Correct.
Let me ask this question. Is the language as it's written now permissive? Would the staff have the discretion to refer, or would they be required, absent the language that Rupert is suggesting, would they be required to make that determination on their own?
I'm sorry, say that again.
So the language as it's currently written, I mean, what Rupert wants to make clear that you take a shed and make it an ADU, you got to come to the board. That's unambiguous, right? If you leave the language the way it is right now, would the staff, and I guess this is really a question for both of you, would the staff be precluded from referring it to the board simply on their own discretion or not, without that language? Or with the language as it's currently stated?
What's that? I agree with your concern. And so if the language was changed to allow the planner to, in her discretion or his discretion, depending, to send it when concern of an EDU or, being possible or actually someone's trying to accomplish that. So that would be the discretionary aspect. And so I would say language would be, the planner may refer the matter to the planning board.
I just have a question. What's our setback to a coastal feature right now?
I'm sorry. The jurisdictional area is 200 feet.
Okay, so, but do we have a 200-foot setback to a coastal
So anytime you're
feature?
doing work within that 200 feet, you receive a variance and a special use permit. Yep. I want to check the ordinance.
He's got to finish his thought.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, so my thought here is this is exempting solely sheds of less than 144 square feet from that setback, as long as they are placed on existing lawn area or when placed on legally non-conforming lots, whereas dimensional relief is not requested. So they need no other relief, and it specifically calls out sheds, which an ADU is not. So I'm assuming that if you go for your ADU building permit, because you still need one, even though it's by right, you need a building permit. If you're within 50 feet of a coastal feature, or within 200 feet of a coastal feature for that matter, you would need a variance from our town to convert that to an ADU? Is that correct?
I don't think so. I think the law, the ADU law, is if you have an existing ancillary structure, you can convert it to an ADU.
Counsel, can you chime in?
Yeah,
on this, please?
I don't know.
Steve, what's your concern? Give me a factual
So
example.
my concern, I think everyone's concern is if someone were to come in and put a shed on their existing lawn within 200 feet of a coastal feature, but maybe say 75 feet to the coastal feature, and then they try next year to pull a building permit to turn that into an ADU. Presumably, there's utilities going in, there's, new construction interior of the shed, there's insulation, there's a lot of work that has to be done to turn that into an ADU. So they need a building permit anyway.
Correct.
I'm asking if that building permit application triggers a need for a variance from the coastal feature setback.
It would.
That's how I interpreted it. It seems to me that it would, which is, so this is just getting sheds an administrative review if you already have the exist, but it doesn't say anything about ADUs. No, I know. So I think an ADU still needs a building permit, so you'd still need a variance. But that's why I was asking, so. But I think adding without sewer, you know, that definitely helps that along.
Belt and suspenders.
Yeah.
I'd be more comfortable if it said something there.
Well, hold on, the Bible is out, so. We're waiting from up above. And the question is, really, is if you add sewer stipulation, does it become onerous? No, sorry. So the question in my mind, in the debate going back and forth here, is if you add sewer, does that become onerous to the generality? And I don't think it does.
I don't think so either. I think if they're trying to put sewer into their shed,
It's gonna
it's
trigger-
obvious what they're doing.
Yeah, it's
you
gonna
know,
trigger
And they should
everything.
probably just apply for the ADU and be
Right.
subject to all of those regulations.
So to put sewer in is not going to be onerous, and it may. So still at the discretion of the planning board, the planner as to what they're going to do.
Yeah, so I'm struggling to put my finger on it right now, but I know I'm almost certain there's a clause, and even if there isn't, I'm sure Mr. Craven can tell me whether or not this is possible, that staff reviews are sort of at the, while they're in the ordinance, if for some reason the staff finds that that it doesn't have a minor effect on their natural resources, so it's under definition, for the purposes of providing an expedited review process, for section 4 of this ordinance, judged to have a minor effect on the natural resources of the environment or minor amendments to site plans, that the staff review process could be used. So if staff were to judge that it wasn't a minor effect, then section 16 wouldn't apply.
Okay. All right. Do we still want to add sewer? All right. Anybody opposed to adding sewer? Outright? All right. So if we add sewer, it is belt and suspenders, but it isn't onerous. And that's my concern is, are we making it onerous? And we're not, so.
Construction of sheds without sewer
Yep.
with, of 144 square feet or less.
Okay.
Got it.
All right. Any other questions, concerns, issues, complaints? Steve? Start at that end this time. We always start at this end.
No, I think this is you know, we've cleaned up the ordinance, it's enforceable, it's usable by the staff, we haven't taken any of their power away. We've just gotten rid of an extra step that people need, which we were gonna give them the, you know, once they get it from CRMC or DEM, they're gonna get it from us, so it's just an extra step. So I think we've removed that, and I think we've made it a lot, if not clearer, certainly less confusing, maybe. Because the problem is the state regulations. There's so many different setbacks and so many different things. Having any setbacks here, unless you're going to name every single setback in the state, it becomes too much. So we're telling people they have to go to the state, they have to get their state approvals, and, you know, I think that's your job, is to help them and guide them in that direction. I think this helps with that and makes it clearer. So I'm in favor.
Okay. Tom?
I'm supportive of the changes as we've modified them this evening. I'm looking at the cover memo that Jill has provided to you, which would in turn be the cover memo that would go to the,
Yep.
and I'm not sure when you want feedback on that. I don't know that we have to do that tonight, but I'm happy to provide feedback when you're looking for it. There's a couple questions I do have. One is, have you looked at that memo, Bob?
No.
Okay, so I want to be sure Bob's had an opportunity to see it. Two, bear with me for just 1 second. Okay, I figured it out now. No, I'm good right now, thank you. But I do have some suggested edits for your consideration before it moves forward.
You want to do that offline?
No.
What do you want to do
No,
tonight?
no, so, no, I'm happy to do it online. That's fine.
Offline, just between the two of you, or do you want to handle it in this meeting?
Well, what I was going to ask the board is, are you making the recommendations subject to the changes that we just made? Or do you want to see a clean copy next month? And then at that time, we can address whatever concerns that Mr. Callahan or additions, because at that point, you're correct, or if you're going to do it tonight, this report will become the basis of your report. So if you want to add or delete or omit or anything, whenever you're ready to make a recommendation is the time. I think you're going to want to talk about what you want to add in the report to the town council.
Yeah, I haven't got that far yet. I wanted to know if there's any more comments people wanted to add or change or look at to this body of work. Okay. Rupert, anything?
I think the changes are, as Steve said, I think it clarifies, makes it more user-friendly.
All right. Dr. O'Neill? Okay. So outside of the cover letter, the changes that have been noted, recorded, are you comfortable going forward with that outside of the cover letter? Steve?
Yes.
And I'm not taking a vote, I'm taking a straw poll. Tom?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Rupert? Yes. Okay. So as a group, we're comfortable with the proposed changes, and not only changes by the subcommittee, but the changes by the staff here that's integrated. So we're comfortable with this going forward outside of the cover letter, and which will be handled later on, unless you want to handle that now, which we can do.
Okay, so a couple of things. Mr. Callahan made a couple of comments that I'm not sure if he wants follow-up on. So there was one about the potential of more recent data from RIDEM.
Oh, true.
Then he wanted a confirmation of the district defined, including vernal pools. And then he wanted to make sure that the prohibited uses included CRMC. So do you want the responses to those next month, or do you want to just trust that we're going to put in the answer that you want?
Well, I'm going to trust you put in the answer that you get, not that I want, as much as I'd like that to happen.
Yeah.
But I have full confidence in the integrity of the staff to basically do the work, and wherever the dice lie, the dice lie.
Sure. Thank you.
I concur.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you need from us at this
So
point?
then my next question was my last question, which is, if the board is inclined to be making a recommendation this evening on this ordinance with the changes that have been discussed, then now might be a good time to go through the report if there's anything that should be added or omitted. And I'm happy to do that on the record. I don't have any concern about.
Okay.
I don't have any objection to doing it. I am a little afraid my colleagues it might seem a little tedious to my colleagues, because writing is often an art in the eye of the beholder, but there are some things here, Mark, that I think sharpen the focus of, and I think that's important, again, given the scrutiny that this has gotten and will continue to get, and to clarify some things. But I'm perfectly happy to give those to you, seeing that the cover letter is going to come from Mark, right?
It is going to come
It's going
from
to come
Mark.
from
Yeah,
Mark.
it will come.
Do you want to do that offline, and then I can bring
Yeah.
it all back to you? So I guess the question is, are you trying to get this out the door and have a cover letter to the council next week? Or are you willing to wait another month and have the cover letter reviewed? Otherwise, it's not a quorum if you were to, and we've got legal here if I'm wrong, but it's not a quorum for you to give me edits and for you to okay them because you're signing it.
Well, I'm going to sign them, so defer to the board.
Unless I'm out of turn here. We've got Mr. Craven.
Yeah. I mean,
You can do that.
Okay.
I'd like to get it back to council.
I would like to get it back to council. Steve?
I would also like to get it back to council.
Okay.
And I think
So-
Tom's right. I see a lot of A lot of marks just on that first page. This is going to be a while.
All right, so if you folks, if anybody has any comment, please send it to Jill. And then when we're done, I'll review it with Jill, and presume council would already seen that. And then if it's not gonna, if I'm comfortable with it, I'll sign it, and we'll go from there. Staff good with that?
Just so, council met last night, they meet again in 2 weeks, is that correct?
I'm sorry.
Council met last night?
Yes,
They'll
they
meet
did. They
again.
meet again on October 6th.
And for something to be on the agenda for that meeting, it would have to be through the process that Mark just described by when?
Yes, so I will take the report and I will redraft it for Mark's signature. And once Mark has signed it, then I will create a blue sheet. I'll create an agenda item for the town council for them to put it on their agenda for the scheduling of a public hearing. And then they'll schedule the public hearing 3 weeks or a month out because it will require advertising. It will require me taking this information that I provided to you and converting it to an advertisement format. And so it will take a little while internally for us to get the document done. Is the intention to get this on the October 6th agenda for scheduling?
I would like to get it on there as soon as possible.
Okay.
Okay?
As long as you can. I don't want to, if you need another 2 weeks, it's not the end of the world,
I
Jill.
got it, but thank you for asking.
Well, I mean, the practicality is that's what we would like. If you can't do it, you can't do it,
Yeah.
and that's the understanding.
I'll do my very best. I
But
think I can do it.
We don't want to hold you up, so if you need a motion for us to approve this.
Oh, I'm going to need a motion from you for sure.
Oh, yeah, I presume. So if you need a motion from us to approve this with the edits given, aside from the cover letter, we're all prepared to do that now.
Let's do it.
Okay. Do I?
So
no,
moved.
Hold on, Tom.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the planning board recommend that the modifications to the town ordinances in sections 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, and 16.1 that have been reviewed by us tonight and as amended by us tonight, be recommended to the town council for approval,
Okay. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That is unanimous.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Okay. So ladies, legislation is like hot dogs. Really don't want to see how it's done. It's good, but it's interesting. All right, so we're set with that. And then you'll confer with Jill on edits, okay? And I have more than enough faith in both of you that it will be good. Next step, I need approval of the minutes for July 15th, July 22nd, and August 19th.
All right, Rupert, give me what you got.
Hold on, Doc's got his list, so Doc goes
Can
first.
they be done as a group or?
I have some edits for this.
Oh, okay. Oh, go right ahead.
Oh, I thought you had edits. Okay, Rupert,
No,
what do
I
you
didn't
got?
see anything.
So, Mr. Chairman, I move
Which one are we
the
working on?
approval of the minutes of July 15.
Hold on, let me freeze you up a little bit.
Yep.
Is there any of these minutes that you don't have an issue with?
So, the first one,
The first one you don't?
correct.
Okay, so can I have a motion to approve the minutes of July 15th, 2025?
So moved, yeah.
Seconded? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we'll take up July 22nd, 2025. Does anybody have any concerns with that? Rupert?
I have a minor edit, just to clarify. A1, the first paragraph, the last 3 lines, it reads, Discussion ensued with the board members suggesting further edits and additions to recommendations. And it's currently reads such as, and I would revise this to say, such as establishing a priority schedule for, and then pick up with the word expansion to non-service neighborhoods, renovation of pump stations, and then add the word renovation of Scarborough wastewater treatment facility.
Anything else?
I'm adding renovation of pump stations, and I'm adding the word renovation of the Scarborough wastewater treatment facility.
Yeah, the only thing I'd suggest, Rupert, is, in my mind, when lists happen, that which is first is most important, and I would move the Scarborough wastewater treatment plant up to be the number one piece of that.
I'm sorry, Mr. Callen, I can't hear what you're saying.
I would simply either reverse the order, I'd put Scarborough wastewater treatment plant first, because in my judgment, I think in the judgment of all of us, it's probably the most important thing that needs to get done.
Okay, so in order, reverse the order.
So it would read, such as establishing a priority schedule for the renovation of Scarborough wastewater treatment facility, comma, expansion to non-service neighborhoods, comma, renovations of pump stations. Does that work?
Okay. All right.
With those edits, I move the minutes be approved.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. August 19th, 2025. Anybody have any questions, concerns, issues? Rupert?
I need to abstain.
Oh, okay.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions, concerns, or issues on the 19th?
On page 2, on the paragraph before section C, pre-application review, I found that language confusing in terms of people understanding what we did. So in adding a condition of a deed restriction that the garage will not be utilized as a rental property for less than 1 year, that can be interpreted any number of ways. I think what we did is say the property could not be rented for less than 12 months, right?
Right.
It had to be a full-time, a full
Yeah.
year annual rental.
Yeah, that was the
as-
intention, yeah.
As opposed to, it couldn't be rented from a year from the approval. It's just the way it kind of can be confused, so I'd like to clarify that language, I just don't have it in front of me right now. And I'm more than willing to accept people's assistance to help me get that language right.
Do you need to go back and see the record?
I'm having trouble hearing what
Okay, so on the applicant that had the 2 bedrooms above the garage, one of the stipulations they agreed to was to make it, it's the seasonal, make it long-term. So the wordage was that it would be no less than a 12-month rental if it became a rental, and they agreed to that. But I think we really need to look at the record and make sure that's the way it was worded.
Yeah, because I thought it was something totally different.
Okay. All right. So can we continue that one?
Sure.
All right. I have a motion.
Move to continue.
that.
Yep.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. All right. Reports from staff and council, solicitor board. Staff, any reports you want to come forward with?
Not at the moment. We will be having our first 5-lot subdivision administrative approval happening. I have to sign the paperwork. I'll do that probably tomorrow.
Okay.
And I'll report out on that officially next month. But I've mentioned it here on several occasions before. It's the first one that's been done under the new regulations where it didn't require any public
Oversight.
Yeah, but any public notice. It
Yeah.
didn't come to you. Normally, it would have come to you because it was lot creation.
Right.
It was from 1 lot to 5 lots, so there was no public notice and no planning board review.
Right. So, ladies, so the law has changed, the state has changed the law. So normally, any subdivision, we have a large piece of property, and dividing it to make a neighborhood, would come to the planning board for review. And now there's a provision for less than 9? Unless they change that
No,
again.
well, it depends.
Yeah, I know.
It could be an unlimited number of lots as long as they're on a town,
Sewer.
nope, a town road.
Oh, town road, yeah.
A
So-
road improved to town standards, so.
Right. So normally a subdivision would require a public hearing. So the developer would present, we would ask questions, the public at large could ask questions. Now it's done administratively. Okay, so,
Jill, remind me,
Yes.
while there's not a public hearing, was there any requirement for abutter notification?
No,
no, there's none.
Do we know how many abutters there are with respect to the property that's being subdivided?
I would probably between 6 and 8.
Do you have any evidence or intelligence that those folks know what the property is being subdivided into 5 lots?
No,
Okay.
only if they're paying attention to the meetings here.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So ladies, that's a new state law. So normally the abutters, the immediate abutters would be notified that, hey, we're going to do this, so they can come and say, and they're no longer notified. Okay. Anything else, staff?
No,
take that as a
sorry,
no.
no, thank you.
Counselor, anything you want to update us on? Okay. Coastal Access Improvement Committee, due to summer schedules and stuff, there was no quorum, so we'll have our first meeting tomorrow. It happens. It's the summer, you know. Do I have a report from the Land Conservancy Trust? Excuse me.
Absolutely. We have a meeting Thursday, and we have, is it the 20th? Is it this coming Saturday? Is the walk?
Yes, it's
Yes.
Gansett Days.
Yes, Gansett Days Walk, trail walking, dogs welcome on the main trail. Are we not doing the Sunset Farm Trail for the dogs?
I
can't
believe
remember.
you're doing both. And
All right,
dogs are
cool.
welcome on Sunset Farm as long as they're leashed.
Beautiful, dog-friendly. Bring your leashed pets, your fur babies, and get out there for Gansett Days, get some exercise, check out some of our cool trails. The Sunset Farm Trail is mowed and accessible. And that concludes my report.
Nice, and all that information is online. They've been posting Gansett Days on social media and everywhere else, so. All right. E2, 2025 legislative updates, zoning ordinances. We do have a subcommittee. It's myself and Tom. And Ryan, we set a date. That date is
October 3rd.
October 3rd, all right? And so this is to review the 2025 legislative updates to zoning, so then we can make recommendations to the town council for them to adopt new verbiage and regulations, okay? Council, any insight to that with your other hat?
I can leave you a copy of this. This was Adler Pollack and Sheehan briefing for practitioners of the 2025 legislation,
Okay,
both effective dates, just bullet points as to how it impacts, and I can have it distributed to you guys.
all right. And Ryan, based on our conversations, this is all procedural? Pretty much?
For the most part, yeah.
Okay.
We'll go in detail at our meeting.
Yeah. So ladies, there's a difference between procedural and content. So under the Enabling Act, the towns do have ability to shape content as long as they don't weaken the law and they maintain the intent of the law so that it improves the local community. That has been in place since the beginning of this country. Procedural is law. That's what lawyers make their money on, and we don't touch that. Okay, great. Anything else to report? Thank you. Can you get that to Ryan? And then Ryan, can you get it to the two of us? Thank you. Subdivision regulations. We had a subdivision subcommittee. Rupert?
Yeah,
Tom?
so Tom and I and Joe have been working, we've had a couple meetings, we're chipping away at it. We still have other pieces to work on.
Okay. All right. And again, this is new subdivision regulations that we, again, would like to get recommendations to the council to get them enacted. Okay. Anything, Counselor, with your other hat, you want to add to that stuff?
No.
Okay. Staff, anything you want to add to that stuff? Nope? No. Okay. All right. E3, appointment of planning board member to the Bike Path Completion Ad Hoc Committee. So this is a committee that the council is putting together. They've asked for a member of the planning board to be represented on that committee. And so I would leave it to the board. Is there anybody that is interested in being on that committee? Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I'd be interested in being on the committee.
Okay. Is there anybody else that would be interested on that?
Well, I have grown old
Doc?
with this whole subject. I mean, we had millions of dollars in hand years ago.
Gentlemen?
This is the bike path completion. We had millions of dollars, federal, state money. And where is that? This goes on and on and on because people don't want bicycles and paths near their house. So it's nice that we have an ad hoc committee, but it's got to be, how long has this been going on? 20, 30 years? It's got to be close.
I've been here, Dr. O'Neill.
Yeah, this goes on and on and on and on.
Doc remembers when this first came up with Uniwheels.
I concur. I am worried that the committee would just delay the making decisions.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, but thank you for your efforts, but in any case, not to be discouraged.
No, but it's been frustrating, I will say that.
And I guess for the record, before the rest of the board agrees with me being on it, so
You assume better one.
I bicycle and have used the bicycle trail a lot since we've moved here, actually since they've been building it. So that's one piece to know. The other piece to know is I'm on the record in front of town council with one of the planned routes because I didn't expect it to be coming before the planning board.
Okay. Tom?
Mr. Chairman, I think Rupert would be an excellent choice for this assignment for a variety of different reasons, but in all candor, I had an opportunity to watch the town council meeting where the formation of this group was initially discussed. Mr. Friday's name came up specifically as somebody who could be a good representative from the planning board, although they recognized it was the planning board's within the planning board's purview to decide who was going to represent the planning board. But I think he would be well received by the town council for this particular assignment, and I think that would do us all good.
I concur. Steve?
I also watched that meeting. They seemed quite taken with you, Rupert, and I think you'd be great as you do bicycle. I will do it no justice, as I do not. So good luck.
I would love to see this done. I raced bikes professionally for 6 years, and I've actually been on 2 committees in 2 different states and 2 different towns on bike paths. And a good well thought out bike path can do immense things for a community. And I think my only 2 cents is to look at it as there's a difference between a definitive termination of a bike path and then a terminal finish of a bike path. A definitive termination is it's an endpoint, and that's it. Okay, so you have a bike path, and it goes to one spot. Where bike paths succeed and thrive is when you look at it as a terminus. And okay, this path ends here, but where does it connect to? Where does it take the rider next? And if you can maximize those, you have a successful path. So, do I have a motion on a candidate?
Can I ask something just
Yes.
for my information, and maybe council is aware of this? The beginning of our bike path up by the railroad terminal up there in Kingston area, whoever thought, you know the parking problem up there. Everybody knows that, right? If you ever go near there, try to pick up
just there
somebody or.
I was just there Sunday. There was no parking in the parking lot.
Right, and so now the bicycle path, if people want, they can't start there anymore. Is that accurate? Yeah, this is aside from what we're doing here. You can't leave your car there anymore. I mean, there's a guard now.
Well, it seems as though there's been other scattered parking areas that I'm not sure that they were designed for it, but across the street from the bike path, a section that crosses into URI,
Yeah,
there seems to be a parking lot over there that is
Yeah.
not paved. It looks like it's grass, but I saw dozens of cars parked there.
I don't think that's a parking lot.
just, yeah, the other end, that's the other end of the bike path, but I just like, who, you know, the thought process there was a little bit narrow or.
I think the train station and the federal government, the Amtrak and the bike path probably, didn't communicate with each other, much to the chagrin of Senator O'Neill, who had the bike path named after him.
My cousin, yeah.
Okay. So, do I have a motion on the candidate, one Rupert Friday, to be the planning board representative to the Bike Path Completion Ad Hoc Committee?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend that Rupert Friday represent the planning board on the ad hoc bike gateway committee, whatever it is.
And I will counter my usual practice of not getting involved in motions or second, and I will gladly and enthusiastically second his candidacy. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. I'll say. So E4, affordable housing discussion continued. So this has been something that is near and dear to my heart, but also everybody on this board and within the planning staff. We started and stopped on this a couple times. The demands of other things have always interfered. So at the last meeting, we consciously agreed to undertake a brainstorming session, and I asked everybody to please come prepared. I have a handout for everybody. I apologize for not getting it to you sooner. I honestly thought I had sent it out. But I, again, am going to waver from my usual deferring to everybody else, and I thought I'd get the ball rolling on this because I was the one that really asked you guys to really put pen to paper and thought to this. And so I'll open the door. I think, to me, when I looked at this, there were factors involved. Competition from investors and short-term rental profits, and these are factors involved in the difficulty of providing attainable housing, let alone affordable housing. And the risk there is that you change your community from a community of residents to a community of transients. We don't have housing for our town staff. We don't have them for our trades. We don't have housing for our fishing industry. We don't have them for our hotel and restaurant. We don't have housing.
The hospital.
The hospital, huge problem. And these are high-paying jobs, and professionals that we need. So I thought some of the factors in that was competition from investors and short-term rental profits, rising acquisition costs, rising building cost, stagnant wage growth, and the university. And the presence of the university is both a positive, but it does cause us some issues. Some of the goals I think we should look at is how to influence the market, incentivize attainable housing, identify targeted goals versus needs for housing, internalize assistance expertise from nonprofit developers, develop strategies for existing housing stock versus new build. And I don't mean pitting one against the other, I mean that they're different. Try to influence cost acquisition and cost materials and labor. Concepts to explore. Don't give away valuable ordinances. Use and incentives. Ordinances are used, and this is nationally and internationally, ordinances are used to guide and control development for the benefit of a community. They are valuable. They are actually currencies in the market for attainable housing when you look at them. Don't give ordinances away for free. Use them aggressively as incentives to assist homeowners and investors in providing attainable housing for existing housing stocks and new builds. They are an asset. It shouldn't be squandered. Looking at vacant lots, and some of these are redundant, but I thought they were separate. Incentives for small non-conforming lots, to look at that, under 10,000. Create zoning categories. Attainable incentives. Streamlining permitting for attainable housing new builds. Reduction or no fees. Leveraging town buying power to possible lower supply costs. And again, this was just brainstorming. But I've seen it work before, where you leverage, and I've done it with clients where we got a group of clients together and creating a buying group, and suddenly there were discounts that and assistance that didn't exist. But leveraging the town's buying powers to possibly lower supply costs. Create subsidies, tax incentives, homestead exemptions, or something similar for rental properties that cater to attainable housing. Private public investments, engage nonprofit corporations for assistance, utilize underutilized state and local land for development as attainable housing. Existing housing stock. And I think this is really where the pressure is. Steve and I actually had good conversations on this, and the fact that a vacant piece of land has its own dynamics. And it has its own timeline. It's more arduous to permit, where the pressure is on existing housing stock. Don't give away ordinances. They're valuable. Use them as incentives. You can package them. I can't stress this more. I've been talking about this since the day it started. Incentive for small non-conforming lots under 10,000. Create zoning categories, attainable incentives, streamlining permits, reduce or no fees, leveraging town buying, creating subsidies, tax incentives, private, public, et cetera. Create a simplified mixed-use ordinance and process. And I know we brought this before the council, and I know it's not a priority of the council. They have other priorities. But I think this offers the developers at least another profit center that they can have a profit stream. I would love to see a mixed-use ordinance that's simple, flexible, and straightforward, not only in the ordinance but in the standards. Expedited process for anybody doing a mixed use, and easily attainable incentives. Develop community trust fund, grants or loans. Utilize for down payment programs for first-time buyers that are not using it as a rental but as a primary residence. Affordable development acquisition programs. And some of these can be done or to be explored, because it's not going to click your finger and make them go. But to look at partnering with financial institutions, state government, federal programs, if they ever come back. Affordable development and acquisition programs. Affordable ADU development. Affordable home renovations, all targeting attainable. Seek funding from federal, state, industry, charitable foundations. Student rentals represent a $70 million industry, and that doesn't even include summer. Create an industry tax with proceeds funding a community development trust fund to subsidize attainable housing, or help with incentives for those looking to create or supply attainable housing. The University of Rhode Island is using Narragansett as an extension of their housing policy. At present, Narragansett houses 1/3 of URI's total student population. Think about that. Narragansett houses, depending on the numbers, because it's always 6,000 to 8,000, Narragansett houses 56.67 to 68.2% of URI's undergraduate population. We house more undergraduates than URI does. Adoption of a 5-student housing regulation may possibly increase that, especially if one definition of unrelated is adopted versus another. And that's a policy decision, and I respect that, but it could exacerbate this. URI's new strategic plan, which they just unrolled, their new strategic plan calls for only 700 net new beds on campus, despite expanding their enrollment, solidifying their intent to use Narragansett as a de facto dormitory town. The university contributes nothing financially to the town of Narragansett for the privilege of housing URI students, but is comfortable with the assumption Narragansett will absorb more students as needed by the university. And I just go on the record. I was a student. I lived in Great Island. I have houses on either side of me. They are students, and they are wonderful. They're part of our neighborhood and our community, and I have nothing but delight and enjoyment from students. This is a business side of things, all right? Things to look at. Join with surrounding towns to develop a joint strategy for dealing with URI's housing of students. Create a student assessment that is charged to the university for housing their students, or charged directly to the student for living in Narragansett rather than on campus. Students save well over $5,000 a year for not living on campus. These assessment fees will also fund the Community Development Trust to fund attainable housing. Create a portal on the town's website to list any student rentals that go unrented for the use of attainable housing. This will provide owners with an avenue to rent property rather than have it remain vacant or underutilized, providing income that would not be there otherwise. This will give the opportunity for attainable housing, even if just for a period of the school year. Landlords and investors might find that even though rentals might be slightly less for long term, the cost of maintenance and issues with neighbors and the town associated with student rentals might be enough to offset those costs. So these are just ideas. I'm not saying they should be done. I'm looking for thinking points. We talked about going as far outside of the box as possible. I am not looking to start a war with URI, but I think there's some ownership here. And I think we've gotten to the point, last election was the first election that was decided by a student vote, not by the residents of Narragansett. That's a frightening thing when you're a resident here. Students are here for, 10 months? There's no consequences to what they do and what they vote. I'm not going to get into my sentiments on that until I become a private citizen, but it's an impact to this community. And I think we need to start looking at it from a business perspective, because that's what the university is looking at. If their strategic plan had come out with looking at 5,000, 6,000 students over the next 15 years being housed, I would say I would have very, very different thoughts. But when you're looking at 700 net beds over the next, 15 years, I think that sends a strong message from the university. Those are my thoughts. I thought I'd throw them out to you, get the ball started. We're not here, brainstorming session isn't here to argue if one is right or one is wrong. It's to get ideas down. And then we come back and we start going through them and looking at the validities, the positives, the negatives, the practicalities of those ideas. So again, these are just pure brainstormed ideas. I didn't get into any description as to the practicalities, the legalities, or anything. I just want to stimulate ideas. Steve, I'm going to start at your end. We
All
usually
right.
start at this end. I'll start with you. Any ideas you want to
Let's do
add?
it, Mark. First, I want to thank you for this. This is great. I think it's great to get the ball rolling and thinking about attainable and affordable housing. I'm not going to make a bunch of comments on my personal views of different things, except for this. I will talk about those 700 beds.
So that's not the intent of this.
I know, but
So
I'm
the
going to say it
intent-
anyway. I got to say one quick thing, Mark, please.
Yep.
700 beds over 15 years, and they just doubled their ask for our sewer capacity where we house their students. Insane, ridiculous. I hope that the URI is listening to this. This is wild, unneighborly, and unconscionable. That's all I got to say about that. I did actually have an idea for attainable housing. I thought perhaps, and I haven't fleshed this out very well, but
And that's
if-
not what a brainstorming session is
Yeah,
for.
so-
That will be the next step.
Of course, if we could create a floating zone, which is the landowners could choose to be in this zone or not in this zone, no matter where they are in town, and perhaps we let them unmerge a previously merged lot as long as they agree to put a year-round rental term as a deed restriction on either the newly created property or both properties. I think that would go a long way to making more attainable housing, not capital A affordable housing, but certainly attainable housing for year-round residents. I think that's a good idea. I haven't fleshed it out all the way, but that could help.
Like it.
As far as capital A affordable housing, I've said this before, I think the state did a pretty good job with their 25% requirement because construction is very expensive, land acquisition is very expensive, labor is very expensive, everything's very expensive. With a density bonus, you can eat the cost of 25% of the development being affordable. Right now, we have a duplex ordinance. I believe if it's 50% affordable, it's one half of the duplex is capital A affordable. Then you get the duplex where you otherwise wouldn't. I commend whoever was involved in writing that. I think it was a good sentiment, a good idea. My problem with it is that it actually does the opposite, because if I got to make half of my building affordable, I'm going to lose so much money on that half that I'm probably only going to build a single unit anyway, because I'll clear more money that way. So it almost makes it less likely that we have duplexes, and duplexes are small A affordable, generally, more than a single family. But obviously, it was a step in the right direction, and I think 25% is a good number. Maybe we could do 33% here if you want to increase that affordability. But I don't know what the bonus would be to the 33. So if you got one lot, now you can create a triplex, and one of them has to be affordable. It's a thought. It's something to mull about. But those are really my two thoughts on affordability and attainability in the town that I had so far. But I'll keep working on it. This brought a lot to mind, but I gotta mull it a little
Cool.
more. So
And that was
thank
the
you for
intent.
this.
And most of my focus, to be honest with you, is on small, attainable. I think right now that's a sober conversation. So,
It's a fair point.
Tom?
Mr. Chairman, how are you going to do this? We going down the line once, or we going down the
No,
line twice?
no, we'll come back and forth. But
I'm
the
gonna-
idea.
I'm going to continue to listen right now.
Okay. The idea, again, in a brainstorming session, is not to come, no, I'm just explaining to everybody, is not to come up with a solution. It's not even to present, and a lot of times brainstormings break down because people want to defend. It's like, here's what I'm thinking and here's why it's good. It's not. It's just to get the ideas down. And then we'll come back and we'll start to evaluate. Rupert?
So my frames are a little bit different than where you went with this.
That's good.
I think we could start by adopting the inclusionary zoning ordinance we sent to town council months ago. I think the Crane report had some very important observations in that we really can't manage housing affordability in town unless we manage student housing and short-term rentals. And I think for student housing, I think the university could partner with a real estate investment trust that they're out there that just build student housing and build some on the Bay campus. There's land there, there's sewer and water capacity there, and it can be done without the state spending a dime because the real estate investment trust would do all the funding. And then picking a thread out of the draft state housing plan that was put out a couple months ago about retaining existing housing that is affordable. I mean, we have a lot of cottages that 1, 2, 3 bedroom cottages that are affordable if they aren't cleared and replaced with much larger houses. So retaining those. And then we have some rental properties in town that with a little bit of investment by the town, maybe with the affordable housing bond that was passed, help the landlords bring it up to current code. And some of these rental units are affordable. They rent them year-round at a very affordable price. And my fear is that these are going to go away because the market is so primed for them. People are knocking on these landlords' doors, offering them a lot of money for these rentals. And if these investors buy them from the current landlords, they won't be affordable. So I think working with the current landlords that have housing that they're renting on a year-round basis and affordable rates, working with them to retain them is a good one. And then the other idea I have is the town watching or working with the local affordable housing nonprofits look for foreclosures. There was a house on the street over from mine that was foreclosed, and it was purchased by an investor for, I don't know, $40,000. And you could clear it, create an affordable unit. That's less than you can buy a lot for, right, Steve?
That's true.
So I think sort of watching for those foreclosures and opportunities for acquiring them and creating affordable units or retaining affordable units, because in this case, there was somebody living there that was evicted and was a year-round resident, so.
Doc?
Yeah, I think we got two different terminologies here. There's student terminology and this affordable terminology. I think they're totally separate in terms of construction and how we go about creating housing stock for working people. I probably have said this in the past. My daughter's an architect. They did a job down in one of the southern states, and they very quickly realized the word affordable creates prejudice, and we certainly have seen that here over the many years. Every time we have a discussion of affordability, there's somebody who gets up and says, but not in my backyard. And it's sad, but it's just true. And so I brought that up a number of times. You gotta get away from the word affordable, even though we all know what it means, and use a term like working people's housing. But how to do it? I think the reality is Steve is in that world and trying to make a living where you just got all these costs, and You mentioned, what, one bundle of cedar shingles. I mean, how the heck, how do you bid on a job today and make a profit? I mean, you can't, the whole, this, yeah. I'm sure there are some social programs where profit can be supported to a certain extent by our tax dollars. But unless somehow this is made, I don't know, sweetened or whatever for people like Steve to bid and to build, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. As I say, on the student side, you know, the people who own those places, they just charge more money next year. And with the limited housing at URI, that's not going to change. They got the golden goose. So, you know, I think your thoughts are excellent and deserve consideration. But the reality is, I think we're talking about two different groups of people and two different types of housing. And I wish I was, I don't know, gifted or able to project, you know, some way of financially supporting the working people's housing. I threw in the word hospital earlier when Mark was listing the need for affordable housing. The cost at our hospital, this is over in Wakefield at South County Hospital. That's the local hospital for people who don't realize it. But in any case, the cost for them, they bring in these temporary people to fill the positions because it's hard to get health workers in the state of Rhode Island because the pay is so low here. But they bring in people, now they have to house them. And it was a year or two ago, they were presenting those statistics, and the numbers of dollars, they weren't in the thousands, they were in the millions to do that. So we've got to find some way to create housing for those who do the work. And I wish I was blessed with that, with that knowledge and with that ability to share with you right now. But boy, I don't have any other thoughts or comments.
Yeah, I'm more thought than adding anything. I've been saying from day one that the onus has been put on the builders. That's not fair. The blame has been put on the builders. That's not fair. We've been building houses since the 1500s, 1400s. And then to say, well, yeah, we know you have an existing housing stock, but now you've got to create 10% of it as affordable is utterly ridiculous. The state came forward with changes in legislation to build bigger houses. I'm old, I admit it, sadly. I've been doing this since I was 20 years old. I don't understand how building bigger houses equates to affordable houses. If it's $1 million or $2 million to build a house, you have to get a return on that. And if you don't, you're out of business quickly. I saw no incentives built in. I saw no demands, no criterias, nothing that would even say affordable. This is how you have to do it. Leave it to the market. Well, markets are different. The market in Exeter is drastically different than Narragansett. I would argue that the market in Narragansett is drastically different than Newport, which is also a coastal community that has a school. Bristol, the same way. One size fits all doesn't. And in fact, the state legislation, while I think the intent was correct, the desired intent was to get affordable. I think for Narragansett is just exasperating the problem. Two, on a personal note, and ladies, I hope I don't depress you. I've been blessed. My children have been very, very successful. I have a son living in Boston. He works in Boston, so he needs to live close. He and his girlfriend live in a 2-bedroom, first floor of a 3-story walk-up. It is $3,200 a month. They can easily afford a very, very nice home. They can not afford to put together a down payment to buy that home. It's no different here. It's no different here. That's the reality of the market. And to sit there and pass things and say, well, one size fits all, and bigger is better, and it'll be, you're not doing justice to the uniqueness of different communities and the uniqueness of the markets. That's my sentiment, that's my comments. I'm going to go back down. Steve, anything you want to add as far as other things that have popped into your head?
No.
Okay. Tom?
I wrote down a series of words,
Okay.
and you'll have to.
That's usually brainstorming is a series of words.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about a discussion I had with a prominent human being involved in real estate rental development here in town. I'm going to talk a little bit about Crane. I'm going to talk a little bit about strategy, infrastructure limitations. I'm going to talk about policy practice, the town's affordable housing collaborative that's up and running, and I'm going to talk a little bit about URI. I had a prominent human being involved in real estate here in town about 3 or 4 years ago asked me why I had become so interested in the work that was being done up on Clock Road before I joined the board here and before I joined the zoning board. And I told him, A, comp plan suggested that something different should be going on there, and B, that in no way, shape, or form was that ever going to be affordable housing. That human being said to me, that ship has sailed. That ship will never happen in Narragansett. In the world of Ted Lasso, it all revolves around the word believe, and you can't get anywhere on something this big, this tough, and this difficult if you don't believe you can get it done, even though there's no evidence that's out there that you can get it done. You need a group of people who are committed, who share the same values, who are willing to push the envelope in order to move this thing along. That's one. Strategy, I'm less interested in talking about the individual pieces because I think, all of those things, if you could do all of those things, Mark, you'd do them. The town has had a good blueprint for how to address this issue in the Crane report for now more than 2 years. The former council had been moving forward on the Crane report, both in terms of trying to address short-term rentals and some other things as well. And I'm hoping that this council has not decided to look at, think about, determine whether or not there are elements of the Crane report that ought to be moved ahead as a coherent strategy as they take the reins of this thing. I'm hoping that they just simply haven't discarded it. I'm hoping because the politics associated with it being an instrument that was created by the prior council. But if you want to look at a strategy, there are 5 or 6 elements of a strategy there in Crane that are big picture issues that could move the needle on this issue in Narragansett. On the issue of infrastructure, you can't now be thinking about building more housing in Narragansett without having a game plan for infrastructure, primarily sewer, but I think all of us want to understand the water issues as well as we go forward. I mean, been in a place where it was a routine matter where basically there were water shortages, not shortages, but bans in the summertime for outdoor use and things of that nature. I don't find that as troubling as some people do in town. That said, I don't have a good handle on what the nature of the water supply system here is over a 20 and 30-year period of time. And until we know that, until we know how reliant we are on things there, We need to spend some time on that, and the sewer issue, I don't have to spend any time on. But clearly, whether you cannot do an affordable housing strategy without addressing infrastructure. They have to go hand in hand going forward. With respect to URI, as we talked about last week, and this is, again, it's not pro-student, anti-student, it is an acknowledgement that students are a fact of life. What the town has to decide is whether or not 6,000 to 8,000 students in a town of 14,000 people total is a good thing, a bad thing? Do you want to see more? Do you want to see fewer? And if so, how do you go about addressing that? In my judgment, I've said it before, I'll say it again, the University of Rhode Island should be thinking about 2,500 to 3,500 net new beds, and it should be done, and you have to think about this over a decade, or in their case, I'm willing to accept a 15-year period. I've been thinking about a decade, but I'm willing to accept a 15-year period. To the point that Steve made earlier, it seems to me that the administration at the university, with respect to the issue of sewers, based on the offer that they made to the town that was presented to the town last night, to double the sewer fees in what would be $150,000. If the university net can't afford $75,000 for 1 year on a $1 billion budget that they've got up there, we've got bigger problems than this right now. Why they would raise the price by that amount of money, knowing that they wanted to negotiate a longer-term agreement that's in everyone's best interest, is a little bit stunning to me. I think we have with respect to the capital A, I think we have to think about what our role is, what the council's role is, what groups like the Affordable Housing Collaborative should be doing. I think the Affordable Housing Collaborative is focused on capital A. I don't know from a scale point of view. You got to walk before you can run. They've got a project that they're really hoping that they can get done. We all ought to support that. But from a scale point of view, we're not going to see the kind of moving the needle that we weren't going to see. Lastly, I'll say this, and I've said this in a couple of different forms. And this is something that I think we need help, well, I'm going to say two more things we need help from the state with. One is, if the measure of the town's work in providing affordable housing was how many people in the town of Narragansett live below the poverty line, the town of Narragansett would be doing 8th or 9th best in the state. Because 19% of the people who live in Narragansett, as reported in the 2020 census and the 2022 American Community Surveys and the following 2022 and 2024, live below the poverty level in Narragansett. Now you say, how can that be? How can that be with houses costing what they are, with people making the kind of money that they make in Narragansett?
19%?
19%. The answer to that question is this: the census is done on the first day of April every year, and students are included in that census. And that drove the numbers in Storrs, Connecticut when I was there, and it drives the numbers here in Narragansett. So the town is, in fact, providing not only a service to the University of Rhode Island in terms of house, and again, you can't say Narragansett, the town, it's Narragansett's infrastructure and the industry that essentially is built around kind of the student rental industry. I lost my train for just a second, but the point of the tale is you can either provide affordable housing for students going to the University of Rhode Island, which is arguably a good public good, or you can provide affordable housing for families that want to live here for a long time, but you may not be able to do both. And the balance clearly is unbalanced right now, and it needs to be balanced a little differently than it is right now. The last thing I'll say, and again, this goes more to strategy than anything else. Big stuff gets moved by big partnerships. The University of Rhode Island's tagline is, think big, we do. We need to think bigger, and we need to do bigger than the University of Rhode Island. We need to have them as a partner. We need to have the state as a partner in addressing the issues with respect to the number of students, the university's reliance on the infrastructure that they help pay for, no question about it, but it resides here in town, and we're the host community for that. We're the host community for the Bay campus. We're the host community now for 6,000 to 8,000 students. We need a better partnership on an agreed-upon agenda that can move things not only between the town and the university, but also at the state level in terms of providing resources to move forward. From my vantage point, I'm less interested, not anything that we can do at a tactical level, let's do it, but strategically, we've got to change the point, we've got to change the perspective of the town in terms of how to go about this. Last point, really the last point. The person who was the mayor of the town of Mansfield, and there was stability in the town of Mansfield in terms of the political climate, in terms of a council that was there for 10 years. And then by a set of fortunate circumstances, the state representative became the House Majority Leader, and the state senator became the president of the Senate. That mayor was obviously on first name basis and could pick up the phone and get stuff done with any of those two legislators, but she was also on a first name basis, on a speed dial basis, with the chairman of the university's board of trustees, whose name was Jack Rowe, and was the CEO of Aetna Life and Casualty at the time. You need to be thinking about these things a little differently, at a little different level, in order to get the kind of results that I think we're all looking for.
Thank you. Rupert, back to you. Doc?
Anything else?
Okay, Doc? All right. Steve? Tom, anything going? No. Rupert? Doc? Staff, anything? Anybody from the public? You guys are it. You guys look like your pillows are calling you. All right. The next step would be to put this together and get it back to everybody, and then for everybody to start going through them and looking at the pros and cons, practicalities. Not the idea of I don't like this, but more constructive, okay, this sounds great, but can we legally do it? And we'd have to defer to council for that. Is something strategic or tactical? Is it long-term, short-term, et cetera, so forth and so on. Council, you want to give us some insight into what you've heard from either your legal hat or your rep hat or both?
Mr. Callahan is very accurate in his observations. And there are some people in this town that love the University of Rhode Island and also love Narragansett.
I'm one of them.
And, there's one that had a basketball arena named after him.
Yep.
He probably would be very helpful. And another that was the president of the 9th largest bank in America. Those are the type of people I think that can help you do big things, because they travel in different circles than the bunch of us do. So that's what I would suggest, that the outline was given by Mr. Callahan, and there are some people that I would, if this board would reach out to and say, can we pick your brain?
Thank you. That's huge.
So I'd like to ask a quick question. I'm not sure Tom Ryan would return my call just yet, but he might return yours. An introduction might be helpful in terms of, in terms of facilitating those.
Sure.
And again, I'll go back to what we said before at the last meeting, Bob. One of the things that I'm hoping happens is, to a point that Steve made earlier, is that the council, and it's really in the council, I mean, if the council wants to delegate to the planning board or some ad hoc group, fine, and if they think I can help, I'm happy to do that. But at the end of the day, this is a policy matter that rests with the council, and hopefully they will organize themselves in a way that they have a strategy in a way to deal with that, and they'd be on point on this. I'm not, I'd be happy to be involved, but I'm again respectful of what my role is versus what their role is.
I was going to ask you privately the same introduction question. I was going to put you on the spot here, but
Sure.
I I am never shy to proudly say I graduated from URI 3 times, and I bleed rhodey blue. This is not against the university, it's certainly not against students. I think they end a vitality and an energy in this town that we desperately need. It's just a business perspective on things, so. That said, we have a housekeeping matter that's really important. October 21st, we have a planned meeting, correct?
Yes.
Yes. That's our regular meeting. The question is, some people can't be here for that meeting.
I'll be here.
Okay. Tom, you're not going to be here.
I will not.
So is there a better date for you if we can accommodate it?
I don't know if you're thinking about a different night for the meeting or having 2 meetings, but I'm available I'd be available and I'm assuming it's a Tuesday, and I'm not sure what time staff needs to be available or not, but I could do the 14th, I could do the 28th. I'm going to be gone from the 15th to the 23rd.
Okay, so you can do the 14th and what else?
The 28th.
28th. Okay. Staff, I'm getting that look, so I just thought I'd ask people what is going on in your head.
Is it the intention of the board to not meet on the 21st or to, because there's a possibility, a real possibility, you're going to have a big project coming through in October, which would be definitely good to have the entire board at, which.
And that was my motivation for asking this question.
Okay, because it sounded like you were asking in lieu of the 21st. Are you asking in addition to the 21st or in lieu?
Well, what's that?
That's the right question.
Yeah. I'm looking for availability on people so that we can have everybody here because it's a big project coming. My question back to you is, do we need 2 meetings? Or is 1 meeting sufficient for the month?
I am not sure yet because
Okay.
that project hasn't,
Okay.
it's not ripe, but there's a high likelihood it will be ripe. It would be good to take a poll to see if everyone is available on the 28th. So your meeting is regularly scheduled. It would happen unfortunately, Mr. Callahan, with 4. And then on the 28th could be if needed, if that project became ripe, would be scheduled for the 28th.
Right. How many would be here on the 28th? I would, Doc. So we're all available on the 28th. Now, my question is, and I don't want to take advantage of these folks because they've been very gracious with their time. Just looking at your board is overwhelming. Would it behoove us to actually schedule 2 meetings for October?
Well, I think right now you know that you have a quorum on the 28th if we need to go to the 28th.
Okay.
And we can always have that special meeting. We can make that call closer to October.
Okay.
If that project is ripe. Otherwise, you have, right now for staff, for site reviews, you have 3. I think you continued 2 and you had 1. So your regular October agenda is not overwhelming at this point.
Okay.
And smaller projects could be accommodated at that time. The project, one project in particular, the one that I'm anticipating will come forward, you would likely want to have a special meeting for.
Okay, great. All right. You got, staff, anything additional you would like to put before us right now? Before I go down the board for any final remarks? Okay?
No, just that it seems like I have a quorum for the full house for the 28th,
Okay.
if need be.
If
And
need
we'll keep you informed. You'll be notified. You'll get notified because you'll be getting a lot of information to review.
Bob, anything you want to add before we go? No? Okay. Steve, anything you want to add before we go?
Great work, guys.
Thank you. Tom?
I'm good.
Hubert?
Question, is there any update on the urban renewal plan?
Yes. So at the last work session, the council asked for all of the information, which I believe I provided to everyone, correct?
Yeah,
All 500 pages of the changes.
yes.
You did not get it, Mr. Callahan? I would have sent it via email. Actually, I think I might have sent it via Dropbox. It was probably that
I
big.
think it was Dropbox.
I sent the original plan and all 11 amendments per the council's request, and then they wanted to see they wanted to see all of those iterations of the changes and track changes and saved and track. And I sent that, and that was one document that the consultant put together. That was an additional 500 and some odd pages. I have since received, they took the notes from all the commentary. I have since received a draft of the ordinance, but I have not sent that out yet because I have not had an opportunity to review it myself. So I didn't want to send that out and not be able to field questions on it.
And in keeping with that, we've not heard anything back from them on the mixed use or the inclusionary zoning.
They are both in your court. The inclusionary zoning was held back on advice of the solicitor at the time because the state law was changing.
Right.
So, and mixed use, as you know, the town council at our request put that one to bed. And they stated at the time that it wasn't a priority.
Right.
If it's a priority for this board, which it sounds like it is, we're happy to, certainly revisit it. I
I'm not gonna-
know the streamline,
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but, I mean, you guys got enough on your plate. I'm not going to ask you to put an effort in when it's futile, but could be a valuable tool, but anyway. No, I heard the same thing, so I didn't know if there was a change or anything. All right. Nobody has any final comments, questions, concerns? All right. It's that time of the night. So I have a motion.
Move to adjourn.